Evening, or welcome back to Instant Spurs episode 33. And you're all probably thinking, what's Dan doing online again? He's already done a show tonight with Nige. But look, plenty more to talk about. We didn't even cover what DeZerbi's come out and said today. So please, guys, anyone watching, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you watch this on playback, it's quite late in the night. Please smash the like button and leave us any comments on what I'm going to talk about in this stream this evening. So, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone's had a good night. It's been very busy on YouTube. Everybody's streaming tonight because of the game tomorrow, Savinio news. Yeah, there's always so much to talk about with this club. And look, I'm hoping some people come and join us in the chat, get involved with the conversation, and get involved. And got some questions for you, talking points, plenty to get into. You may be Spursed out. Well, I hope not. I hope there's a few about tonight who still wants to talk Spurs. And I always have my angle when I talk about Spurs and certain subjects that interest me. And our manager, right? He's been talking again today. And what does it all mean with De Zerbi? So look, there's plenty to get into. As I said, he's been speaking before the Charlton game, and I think it was quite interesting press conference, to be honest. Look, the one at the weekend, right, guys? The one at the weekend was, it was painful, weren't it? I mean, I started talking about it on my show Saturday night, and I just got, I couldn't read out anymore, hear anymore. Waffle. There was a load of waffle, excuses, a lot of contradictions. Yeah, I know we come off a bad defeat, and there was lots of questions fired to him from the press. But yeah, one of his best press conferences, in my opinion. So look, let's see what he's got to say in this afternoon's press conference, because there was plenty about Savinio, team news. Maddison's injured again, guys. Are we surprised? No, we're not. Solanke's available. Porro, Van der Ven are coming back. But underneath all of this, De Zerbi said quite a lot about where he thinks Tottenham are right now. He talked about mentality. He talked about changing the environment. He talked about the Brentford performance. And he talked about why he waited so long for Savinio. So I'm really interested to get into, really what he is saying. And we're gonna talk about it tonight, guys. So get involved with the chat. I'm going to say hello to a few people in a minute. And despite constantly refusing to put a lead position or an expectation on this season, he finished by saying he believes Tottenham can do something special. So I want to go through some of these comments because I think some of them tell us quite a lot about De Zerbi he's actually trying to build here. So we're going to get into it, guys. Let's go to the chat and see if anyone's joined us this evening. Let's have a little look here. Here we go. Oh, big up. I've got plenty of people in already. Anthony in the chat, mate. How you doing, Anthony? How your stream go this evening? Hope you had a good one. As I said, everybody was streaming tonight. So, look, it was a very busy evening, but I hope you had a good show, mate. Hope you got your points across what you wanted to talk about. Liam in the chat, mate. Big up, Liam. Appreciate your comment you left on my one of my videos. Yeah, I agree with a lot what you said. It's a bit of calm needs to happen, doesn't it? This season, a bit of patience. It's hard. I know it's hard being a patient Spurs fan, but you made some great points, mate. Big up to you, and thank you very much for the jewels as well, and also to Cyril McCoy's as well, man. How you doing as well? 5 jewels, giving me a little treat there. Big up to you, man. Big up, big up. And Liam says here, all right, Dan, keep up the good work, mate. Look, yeah, I enjoy it. YouTube, chatting Spurs, good fun, chatting to all you lot. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Always something to talk about, right? Isn't it? Yeah, plenty to talk about. Big game tomorrow, guys, isn't it? Must win, man. We do not want any banana skins tomorrow night. We need to be winning that game. And I'm sure some fans are a little bit nervous after what happened at the weekend, but we can talk about it. We can talk about it. Big up to Barry as well in the chat. How you doing, Barry? Excited by De Zerbi's wish to spend big and challenge him for Premier League. Well, that's got to be the end goal, isn't it? If we're a serious club, that's what we've got to be working towards, winning the Premier League. Not seen it in my lifetime. Hardly any fans have seen it in their lifetime, really, are still alive today. It's a very long time ago when we won 2 titles. And yeah, will it ever happen again? God, can you imagine? Can you imagine if Spurs win in the Premier League tie? It's very hard to believe it, isn't it? With these owners in charge and the history and everything what's gone on. But we can dream, we can hope. And as Surreal saying, big up down in chat. Cookie in the chat, big up Cookie, mate. How was the show with Benji tonight? I'm sure you had a cracking show. Lots of people on there. I'm sure it was a good old debate and chat there. Hit the lights, cheers, mate. Evening to Psycho Teacher as well. How you doing, Psycho Teacher? Good evening, sir. Good evening to you. How you doing? And we got Ron in the chat as well. Maddison isn't a long injury, just hurt his shoulders. Should be fine, per Ornstein. Well, thank you, Ron, for telling us that. This is the thing with Maddison, isn't it? We'll be talking about him tonight. Yeah, just it's the same old, isn't it? Very injury prone. Came on 63 minutes against Brentford, and yeah, suffered another injury. And then the question is, who's going to be playing in the number 10 tomorrow night, guys? Let us know in the chat, and we'll talk about the game tomorrow as well. Cookie saying could be 12 weeks. Maddison Dan fractured shoulders. Well, that's different to what one is saying. He's saying it's only a couple of weeks, I think. I don't know what anything official. Ornstein's pretty reliable source, so I kind of go with what he would say. I big up everyone in the chat. Smash the like button and all of that. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Sheriff's in the chat, mate. How you doing, Sheriff? Evening all. Still at work. Bloody work hard, mate, don't you, mate? You're constantly working, man. Fair play to you, man. Hope you get a rest at some point. Ron saying DeZerbi said Savinio talks began after the Everton game, by the way. Yeah, he did. He mentioned that, didn't it? After the Everton game. Wow. That really did drag on. I wonder if he gives any light to why it took so long. We'll get into it. I've got everything ready for you a lot tonight. What Winkle in the chat, evening to Winkle, a bit worried after what I saw. Yeah, don't blame you, man. Evening to James as well in the chat. Evening, Dan. Looking forward to the show. Cheers, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, join in, get involved in the conversation, man. Any questions, any talking points, try and keep it as interactive as possible. And Sheriff's saying here, get home, Sheriff. Ice Cookie to Sheriff. We need you tomorrow, mate. Yeah, live in the breakfast show, preparing for that Charlton match, talking Savinio, talking the transfer market, any new news in the morning. Everybody will be on it. I'm sure most of you guys will be checking out the 2 Mark show in the morning. And he's saying, fair, very good, mate. Yeah, I'm pleased, mate. I'm really pleased for you. A few more comments before we get into it. Sheriff says, I know, boss. I'm waiting time, mate, to go off, man. Bloody hell. And Winkle's a bit worried after Saturday. Yeah, man, it was dreadful. It was a disaster. And I know Brentford got called the Premier League team of the weekend with that performance. Perfect performance. They were really good, weren't they, Brentford? Can't take that away from them. You know, but as a Spurs fan, a lot of focus will be on how poor Spurs were and how shit we were and how it was a mess and how we got bullied, out fought. It was embarrassing. But, you know, sometimes a team plays well and Brentford completely run all over us. Winkle seconds, he should play Lucas as a number 10, Bergvall, number 10. I was on the show on Beyond the Lane tonight with Nige. We spoke about that's a possibility. If Bergvall can't do it against Charlton, nah, sorry. What can he do? What can he do, Lucas Bergvall? Oh, so strange, isn't it, DeZerbi? With Bergvall, man, honestly, I just don't get it. I really don't get why Bentancur was there. Yes, maybe he couldn't play the whole game, but he could have started and come off second half. We lost that midfield battle, didn't we? Had lost in many areas at the weekend. Anthony said he had a racist in the chat. Thought I had to block, man. Yeah, you do get some idiots come on YouTube, I'm afraid, time to time, man. You just got to kick them out. Put them right, man. Put them right. Liam says the result tomorrow is very important. Need a strong, good win, 100%, man. We must win. We must go through. No excuses, in my opinion. Will we see Savinio? What will the team look like? Will we have more first team starters? Is it going to be a stronger lineup? I bloody hope so. I don't want the risk of getting knocked out against Charlton. I just couldn't deal with it. Honestly, I don't think anyone could deal with that. A loss to Charlton, first home game of the season. I know it's the cup, but come on. Spurs have got to get the job done tomorrow. No excuses from me at all. And Newcastle at all. Maybe we can touch on that tonight. That's got to be a win as well. Let's see what Cookie's saying. Winkle, to be honest, don't want to see both anymore. Yeah, man. Honestly, we don't want to see him anymore. I don't know what he can do and what he can offer us, to be honest. And look, it's a massive concern, isn't it, around that number 10 position, not having a fit number 10, a quality fit number 10. We obviously there's players who can play there, but Jesus, man. Bergvall at number 10, eh? Who's going to be on the right? It's going to be Mikey Moore again. Is it going to be Williams Barnett? God knows who's going to start. Maybe DeZerbi will give us a little bit of insight into his conference. But look, let's crack on with it. Let's crack on with the press conference. A big up to everyone for joining us here. Smash the like button. Thank you very much. And I want to start off talking about Sávio, right? And what DeZerbi said, obviously officially signed today, 75 million initially, potentially rising to 85 million with add-ons. This is massive money, isn't it? Massive money. And DeZerbi clearly doesn't see this simply as another promising winger. He said, in terms of 1v1, he's one of the best players. What do you reckon, guys? Do you agree with that? Is he one of the best players one-on-one? It really depends, isn't it? I'm sure fans will have different opinions on this. He also called him a big signing and revealed something I thought was really interesting. He says he's known Sávio for years. And he actually spoke to him when he was Brighton manager before Sávio eventually went to Man City, which is another interesting thing. And we all know Brighton and their recruitment and their gems that they find across world football. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they were talking to him. Their scouting network at Brighton is fantastic. And so look, this doesn't feel like the recruitment team have given DeZerbi this player. It feels like DeZerbi has waited, always wanted this player for quite a long time, even at Brentford. Quite interesting stuff here, isn't it? I like all this kind of insight into transfers and, the thinking behind it. And it's very important, so important that DeZerbi really wants this player. And yes, it's a massive price tag. And yes, he hasn't got the output. So it's got to work, isn't it? This signing has to work. But it does change the conversation for me slightly, because when you're spending potentially 85 million on somebody your manager personally rates highly, DeZerbi has put some pressure on himself, hasn't he? He definitely has. He's put some pressure on himself, and he clearly believes there's another level to Sávio. And then there's DeZerbi. Basically, he told us what that next level is. Interesting stuff here, guys. He's talked about the best wide players scoring 10 to 15 goals a season and said Sávio needs to change some of his habits. So the pressure is on. He's laid down the gauntlet to Sávio, and he's made it very clear to us Spurs fans that he wants him to score that level of goals. And that for a left-sided winger, 10 to 15 goals is good, isn't it? I know you want assists as well. GA guys in the chat, what would be a good season, Sávio, kind of GA wise by the end of the season? What sort of numbers are you looking at? Whatever you can do, goals, assists together, combination. What do you think, man? What would be a successful season? It's a lot of money for a player, and I know the market is crazy. He's not worth that money, but it is the market. And yeah, we were desperate for some attacking talent, someone with a bit of skill, pace who can take on players. And look, I have my doubts about it, but I mean, we got to just go with it, haven't we? The club have signed him. They spent a lot of money. DeZerbi backs him. He wants him. He's putting the pressure on him. So it's going to be an interesting one, guys. Really is. And then he's went on to say this: you become a top team scoring goals, right? Obviously, right? And that's important because Sávio, one on versatility, has never really been the question. We've seen all the clips. We've watched him play for Man City. It's his end product, which has been a bit of a concern for us, hasn't it? As kind of watching on the end product's not been there. I think in his first season, he done better. Last season, tailed off a bit, but he did there was that links to Spurs to possibly go to Spurs, and he signed a new contract. He did have quite a lot of game time last season, but I don't know if that was more off the bench. Was he not playing in his favourable position? I don't know. Many questions around that, isn't there? We know he can carry the ball. We know he can beat players. We know he can create. But can DeZerbi turn him into somebody who starts producing serious numbers? And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And we won't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. We hope so. We really do. We're desperate for creativity in this team. Been crying out for it for the last 2 seasons, especially the last 2 seasons. Because if, like Tottenham are eventually paying, I would say, up to 85 million, I don't think 3, 4, 5 league goals is enough, is it? It's not going to be enough. And the pressure, and he'll be criticised not just from Spurs fans, but from other clubs, other fans from other clubs, pundits, online social media. Yeah, we just hope that he can face up to the challenge that DeZerbi is putting on him. So as I said, guys, I'll go to the chat in a second. How many goals are you expecting for Savinho and assists as well? And the bigger question is that 75 million potentially rising to 85 million. Are Spurs buying the player Savinho is now, or the superstar they believe he can become? So let's go to the chat and see what people are saying around Savinho. Let's get the chat back up here. Let's have a little look here. Just going to scroll up a little bit. So Ron in the chat, man, says Graham Bergvall needs to go or needs a loan. I'm sick to death of Gray Bergvall conversation, and look, they're not the solution. They're not what we need now this season. We need a team of men on the pitch. We need a team of players who are going to make a difference. And there's too many question marks over these two players. I would loan them out. I would sell them. But the club seem to really invest a lot in these two players. Every manager that comes in speaks highly of these two. DeZerbi started them against Brentford, even though we dropped them at the end of last season. It's confusing, isn't it? Is there a pressure for DeZerbi to play these players? Is there a pressure? And he's kind of like playing them because of the club are saying, look, they've got to be the poster boys of the club. There was a comment in the show earlier today that there's a rumor that the club want them to be the poster boys of the club. I thought, fucking joke, man, honestly. Poster boys of the club. What, are we serious? Or are we not serious? Because anybody who knows something about football or watches football or makes footballing decisions knows these two boys are not ready to start week in, week out. Bloody flying away. They're not ready. Can they play some minutes throughout the season when we really need them, or when we got injuries? Possibly, but I don't want to rely on them. So, guys, again, Ron, I agree, man. Loan them out. If there's not going to be enough game time, loan them out so they start playing week in, week out. But this conversation is going to drag on throughout the season, isn't it? It doesn't look like either player going anywhere. Maybe Bergvall, there'll be a scramble on the last day of the window. Someone trying to get hold of him. Possibly. Could happen, right? Ron says both need to go. One of the reasons we're losing every week. Oh, that's it, 100%, mate. That's why we come 17th, because of those two in the club. And I don't blame them. It's not their fault. They're just not, the development's not been going well, been played in wrong positions. Nobody really knows what to do with them. It's not their fault as players. It's the club's fault. It's the manager's fault. They're just not ready. When you've got young players, they need to come into a team that's working well, which is producing results. It's a strong team, a team that when these young players play, that they've got real top players around them, or players that are producing on the pitch like week to week. Stable team, not a mess of Tottenham in the last two seasons, like struggling near the bottom of the league. It's no place for a young player to come in, and we've had to throw him into the mix due to desperation, due to injuries. And when people will say, well, they've got good experience now playing the last couple of seasons, you can't, there's nothing, they have got actually quite a few games under their belt. But the trouble is, have they really progressed? Have they got better? Has anybody seen anything in these two players that makes you think, well, yeah, we're onto something with these two? No, not enough for me. Not enough, especially Bergvall. I don't get it. I don't know what people see in him. Maybe we'll be a good player one day, but right now I think he needs first team football somewhere else. Both of them do, really. And Gray being captain at the weekend, I mean, that was a joke, man. I mean, decisions like that really make you question managers. It really does. Just baffling stuff. Surreal in the chat says dodgy Enoch instructing DeZerbi to play and make Gray captain. This is what I mean, isn't it? This is part of the whole poster boy thing. Absolute joke, man. Winkle reckons as well. Enoch are behind that. Yeah, I think so as well. Cookie says, Winkle, just don't think Bergvall was good enough. 2 years is enough. Sell for profit and improve. Exactly, Cookie. There was an offer, weren't there? At the beginning of the window. What was it, 40, 50 million? The Spurs turned it down. They wanted 60 million for Bergvall. I mean, I guess we got Vukovic got for 50 million, didn't we? So, I mean, look, De Zerbi's really praised this kid, hasn't he? Really likes him. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's doing things in training that we do not see. I don't know. I just really just don't see how, number one, Bergvall's gonna get enough games. I don't know what this guy does. What is he? Is he a box-to-box 8? Is he a number 10? I don't think so. He is a carrier, I think. He does carry the ball. Decision making when it comes to the final third is so bad. He gets bullied off the ball, shoved off the ball. He tries his little spins outside the box. And you saw it like 3 minutes in, man. Got mugged off and they nearly scored. And that happened constantly in that first half against Brentford. Bullied off the ball, pushed off the ball. Tonali was probably thinking, "What is going on here? What are you putting me with him for?" You know, a nightmare for Tonali, you know, playing next to Lucas Bergvall. And he got hooked off, didn't he, alongside Gallagher at half-time. And then they brought in Bantencourt and bloody Fernandez, and we did stabilise a little bit, but the game had gone by then. Absolutely gone, and it was poor management from De Zerbi. Let's be honest here, very poor management, and he's got to cut that sort of shit out moving forward. Say what Ron says about Savino. He said he likes the training ground and stadium. That's why. Well, that's all there is, isn't it, at Spurs? We're not a team that wins, are we? We're not a team that wins. Money talks, right? De Zerbi wants him. Savino wants first team football. Yeah. Spurs got a history of, you know, attacking players, free flowing, attacking players that get bums off the seat and all of that, you know, all that sort of stuff. Can Savino be the man? I don't know. We'll have to see. Time will tell, right? It better work. It's got to work. Vitel's not going to do a lot, is he? Got Kudos. We've got one right winger who's not fit. God knows who's going to be covering right wing. Don't know who's playing tomorrow. Mikey Moore. Fucking options. You think you spend all this money and you're still short in so many areas. It's mad, isn't it? It is crazy. Winkle reckons Bergvall's not good enough. Some other comments in the chat. Big up to Massey and Joe. How you doing, man? What are you saying here? Hello, Mr. Danilis. Spurs constantly complaining about your goalie. Croatian national team goalie. What's his name? Vilovic, doing his medical at Barcelona. Spurs never even considered him top goalie. And the whole thing with Kingsley, you know, a lot of fans were really happy that he was going to give it a chance this season. Happy that he's been given that first goalie role. I mean, I wasn't completely convinced myself. Yes, he had a good end of the season. Yes, he had a good pre-season. And I kind of got sucked into the whole kind of the optimism bandwagon about Kingsley and that he's going to do a good job and he's good with his feet. He can make some good saves. Bloody hell, wasn't he shaky against Brentford, right? Am I missing something there? Correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't a good performance, right? It wasn't a good performance, but was that a lot based to that defence not playing together before? That midfield being too weak? Was it? There were so many bad performances, wasn't there, on Saturday? And Kingsley was one of them. Collectively, we were awful. So, look, I don't want to jump to say, oh, you know, it's been a massive mistake already keeping Kingsley in goal, because it might have just been one bad game and he might be okay. But again, it's a huge risk, isn't it, if you think about it, going into the season with Kingsley and then signing Dubravka as well, who's kind of past it, but it's got experience. I don't know, man. Sometimes I think this club, I don't really get their thinking. If we're being serious, if we're changing, if we want to be competitive, wouldn't it be a safer bet to get a better keeper? And then there's options out there in Europe. We could have got a keeper at a reasonable price. No one can tell me there weren't options. But De Zerbi seems to like Kingsley. He's backing him. And again, it's going to be on De Zerbi, isn't it? If it doesn't go right, but then you can get to the January window and you can get a new keeper if it's that awful. Another one. Time is going to tell, right? There we go in chat. We got Scott in the chat, mate. Hold on a second. Let me just bring up your comment, mate. I've just gone right down. There's so many comments in the chat, man. I'll try and get through as many as possible. Big up to Scott. How you doing, Scott? I expect 2 goals, 8 assists from Sávio. I don't think people will be happy with that. We've got to expect a bit more from that. But do you agree with Scott? Is that what we're going to expect from him? I mean, he only got a couple last season, didn't he? What was it, 4 GA total? Not good, is it? It's really not good. Winkle says set piece worries me, even though we really got any lumps in LT. Oh man, good point. I was talking about this on the show with Nigel earlier. I just think it will be a problem physically. We just got bullied at the weekend. We even got a lot of height in the side. I just think it's going to be Achilles' heel this season for us. I hope I'm wrong here. But DeZerbi's team's not normally known for the best at defending set pieces under Brighton, if I can remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I do think there's a point there. I do think that on hindsight there, maybe we needed someone a bit more physical presence in that midfield going into this season. A third midfielder there, someone with a bit of strength, bit of power, someone with a bit of height in there. A bit of a different profile to both Tonali and Fernandez, right? Because I do think we're going to be vulnerable at set pieces. Winkle, you make a good point, man. I said this earlier as well. And that's why, like, when we talk about Paulinho and a lot of fans wanted him to stay, and then the conversation was, well, he wanted better. He wanted better technicians on the ball. He wanted a more rounded midfielders. Tonali and Fernandez do that. They're not like, yes, they can get back. Yes, they can tackle, intercepts, and all of that, but they're not a designated DM, right? They're not. And Paulinho, I think, as a squad player going into the season, would have been sensible for certain games. We could have done with him against Brentford, and sometimes DeZerbi's going to have to learn quickly that DeZerbi football, and once it gets the team off run, it's not always going to work. You're not going to always be able to do it. Certain games, certain opposition. Sometimes you have to play a little bit different. Has he got that flexibility as a manager, DeZerbi? I don't know. Time will tell with that one. Big up everyone in the chat. Let's have a random number in the chat. Yeah, how you doing, man? We've been waiting. Savinho, as he now wants to know for quite some time. Obviously, our recruitment team sees something. Price doesn't concern me at all. We need at least 2 more attackers, 100%. Bring as many as we can into this team and ship out as many as we can as well, because they're just not good enough. They're really not. One thinks we should bring in Liao. Guy in the lane, big up to you, mate. Oi, oi. Cookie says, big teams let average go. Can't be having Burwell Gray. Bird's got to go and play. Gray should too, but he ain't, as he's part of the leadership group. So yeah, Gray's not going anywhere, isn't he? Made 5th choice captain. Fucking joke, man. Yeah, just mad. I just kind of can't think about it. It just winds me up. Just don't understand. You got Robertson there, can be a captain. Van Heck to Senesi. So many different options to be captains. Tonali. Yeah, Gray, man. Baffling, isn't it? This is the thing, isn't it? It's part of this fucking poster boy thing. That's just a fucking joke, man. Poster boys. Graham Burwell should start a boy band. That's what I mean, man. It makes us into a bit of a laughing stock, doesn't it? I hope that don't get out to many fans in other clubs, man. You can see it now, can't you? You can see the piss take happening. Don't fucking help themselves, this club, sometimes, do they? Liam reckons Robbo as captain will do, not Gray. Yeah, 100%, mate. Definitely have him in captain instead of Gray. Everyone wanted us to drop last season. This season, because we spend a few bob, they hate us. Yeah, well, no one's doing us any favors. No one cares about Spurs. No one's gonna praise Spurs. For number one, we don't deserve any praise. We've been goddamn awful the last couple of seasons. We've been a joke. We've been a laughing stock, embarrassment of a team. People don't care if Spurs get relegated, but then obviously they care when we spend money because they think, oh, Spurs might do all right. Yeah, look, this is just part of rivalries in football, isn't it? All this sort of stuff, like coming for Spurs. I'm sure we all come for other teams at certain points of the season. How many people were celebrating that Man United loss? I didn't. I tell you that. I was like, okay, fair play, Hull. Yeah, you've done a job on Man United. But knowing Spurs are playing at 5:30, going in this unprepared, I was like, bloody hell, man! If I start fucking bantering Man U fans, and we got battered in that way, man, yeah, you got to be careful, isn't it? You got to be careful. Once Spurs become a good team, then we can start bantering other teams. I don't know. Each to their own, man. People can do what they want when it comes to banter with other fans from other clubs, man. It's all part of the fun, isn't it? It is all part of the fun. Big up to Russell in the chat, man. How you doing? So what's this week? We say Spurs versus London Lions. Oh, mate, I don't understand it. West Ham hate us, Chelsea hate us, Arsenal hate us. They all seem to love each other, don't they? What's going on? What is going on there? Is there something? Yeah, I don't know. Does this go back in time? This sort of thing? Why is that? Why are they so chummy with one another? Selling players to each other. Don't seem to have that level of tenseness when there's a game between these other teams. But anyone plays Spurs, West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal, they fucking hate us. It's mad, isn't it? I don't know why. It's not like Spurs do a lot, is it? It's not like we're a really successful team. But yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe there's a deeper. Maybe anyone in the chat could tell me. I don't know. I thought about it, but I don't know the answer. I don't know why there's this little gang up on Spurs. It's a crazy one. Russell says, "Can't believe we have 3 left backs and 1 right back." Talk about squad planning, right? Where's the replacement for Spence? And I'll tell you what, another thing I'm not happy with. Bloody DeZerbi saying, "Oh, we don't need another right back." Well, I mean, if he doesn't realise we don't need another right back after that game against Brentford, then I'm worried. I'm truly worried. Gray can come in here and there as a right back cover, but to cover him, like if Porro's injured or needs a rest, man, nah. We're going to get targeted. We're going to get smashed down that side. And I think it's a bit of a failure if we don't get another right back. Got to get someone even alone for the season. I don't know. Spurs have got to get someone in there as cover for right back. I don't want to see Gray there again. He's just such an easy target, isn't he? Just drinking my coffee, guys. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. I'll get through some more comments there. Let's go down a little bit. Big up to Kevin in the chat. Hi, Dan. Hope you're well, mate. Have Spurs been cursed by Guna with voodoo dolls? If we didn't have bad luck with injuries, we have no luck. I mean, injuries is madness, isn't it? Maddison injured again. Where's Kudos? Where's Kulu? People told me he's coming back. Where is he? Where's Kudos? Doesn't sound like he's coming back soon. I know we've seen him running. Maybe he's had a setback. Wouldn't be surprised, isn't it, with our luck? And maybe there is some kind of voodoo shit going on, possibly. Oh, dear. Random number said, "I thought DeZerbi said Moore was playing tomorrow." Yeah, maybe he did. We ain't got down to them comments yet. I don't know who else is going to play. Surely he can do a job against Charlton, right, guys? What do you reckon? Would you trust Moore to finish the chance against Charlton? He had 3 decent chances at the weekend, and he didn't put them away, did he? He did not put one of them away, even if he got one in. And this is the thing, isn't it, with our forward line and why we need massive upgrades, because the ones that played at the weekend just were nowhere near good enough. Big up to Benji in the chat, mate. How's your show go tonight? Big up Danny Boy. I'm sure you smashed it, mate. Hope you're good, man. We've got to do a stream soon together, buddy. Russell saying, "What's a big up to Cookie?" Toxic Headshots in the chat. Big up to you, man. How you feeling? Savino happy, mate? And you reckon Savino will be a success? It's all about injuries. That's what I feel. Fair enough, mate. Let's just hope he is a success. I really do. Injuries at the club at the moment is a bit of a concern, isn't it? Big up to Matt in the chat. How you doing, man? Hope you're good, buddy, as well. Martinez, the question mark. And there's been rumours today. I've heard it in different shows I've watched online that Spurs are looking for another keeper. Is there any source or any journalist who's come out and said that? What makes you kind of trust that? Is it real? Is it a rumour? Is it something that could be happening? Is it because Kingsley's had one bad game, the club are panicking? Well, if they're panicking about the goalie, surely they're panicking about the right back. But then again, I ain't seen no right back links. Have anyone in the chat seen any right back links? I don't know. I've not seen any today. Maybe they've been. I don't know. I've been pretty busy today, so I've not been on it, proper on it. Let's go down this track here, chat a little bit more, see some of the other comments before I continue the press conference. Just want to go on anything about Savinho. Maybe I've missed him. Let's have a look. Mikey Moore, surely Mikey Moore comes as captain. Memory of Gray now fades away. It's just madness, isn't it, Russell, man? Crazy. Psycho she said Gray has never smoked a cigarette and he's our captain. Disgrace, man. And Scott says here, exactly, Dan, other clubs don't care. Spurs are irrelevant. Yeah, man. I don't know why they care too much about Spurs, man. We're not a threat at the moment, are we? Maybe people will think they're spending all this money and suddenly Spurs are going to be a wonderful team. Unfortunately, football don't work like that. It's going to take some time for this to come together. How long? Who knows? But on Saturday's showing, it could be a long time. I hope not. There's got to be something, isn't it, coming up in the next games? We've got to see something on the pitch. We've got to see these new players integrated, and we've got to see some returning first team players. And we've got to see some effort and some fight and some basics on the pitch. Not like what we saw on Saturday. We've got to see the bare minimum. And there wasn't that on Saturday. And in the next couple of games ahead, we've got to see that fight on the pitch. You know, we don't want to start badly. We don't want to start staying around that bottom of the table, because you know what will happen? You'll get bloody stuck there. Confidence will drop, belief will drop, fan base will be on everyone's case. The whole league will be bantering us in another relegation battle. Pressure is on DeZerbi to deliver wins, and maybe they'll be a bit scrappy. Maybe they won't be perfect, but as long as he picks up the wins, gets a bit of momentum, gives us fans a little bit more, you know, trust that he's going in the right direction. And I know this is early, we're talking here, but you know what things are like in football. You start off with a bad run, and then you're like, can you come out of it? And the time, if it is a really bad run, then what's there to play for? You know, what is there to play for, guys? So many question marks for me. Kevin in the chat said, sucked into small club thinking, Cookie mate. That's what I think. The likes of Liverpool, City, Goonshite, Chelsea, they wouldn't put up with mediocrity. We hold on to players emotionally. Time for change. 100%, mate. Good comment there. Good comment. I'm fed up with mediocrity. Yeah, that's got to stop. It's got to stop. Good evening to Spurs Fiji as well. Afternoon, you know, God, I don't know what time it is for you over there. We have too many pretty boys. We need men. Vinnie Jones and Keane type. We do. I think so, man. We need strong players, physical players. What's the Fernandez and Tonali midfield going to look like once it's up and running? How's it going to link in? It's just the thing is, just like the problem is, right? You go, okay, Tonali, Fernandez is fully fit, playing next to Tonali. Okay, who's playing in front of them? Who are they linking in with? How are we going to create things? Okay, yes, Savinho might pick up the ball, take on some players, cut in, have a shot. On the other side, once Kudos is finally back, okay, fair enough, same sort of thing. But who's going to knit it all together in that kind of creative spot, that number 10 role? If Maddison's not fit, Sávio's not coming back anytime soon, we've got a problem. We've got a big problem there. And I do think, have the club thought about this going into this season? Knowing Maddison and his injury record, I'm not saying Maddison can't play a part this season. He can. But you can't rely on him to be fit every game. You can't. So what are we doing here? What is the plan in that kind of number 10 role? What is De Zerbi thinking? Is he thinking Marmoush can drop a little bit deeper behind a forward? Is this maybe something to do with Gakpo? We're waiting to get him if he's going to be coming in, or are the club looking for a creative midfielder? We don't know. Hope so. I really hope so, because I think we're going to fall short in that area. This is nothing new here, is it? The club knows this. The club knows the lack of creativity in the team the last couple of seasons. We're not talking about the wingers here. We're talking about a creative 10. You need it. You need a reliable creative 10. You need players who are going to create consistently. And you may think I'm banging on, and a lot of other channels are talking about this sort of thing as well. And I think the big conversation is around that number 10 now and the concerns around it. And not having a consistent one there who's going to be available, who's going to, you know, help us in this season. I don't know, guys. I don't know what the solution is. Let's go down in the chat here. Big up to one Spurs King. The more that hate us, the better. I don't need to be liked by other clubs. Fair enough, man. I get it. The more haters, the better. Right? The more haters, I guess, the better we're doing, maybe. Big up to Kev. He's saying, happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm wide awake, can't sleep. I'm grateful for you, Dan. No problem, man. I enjoy coming on, man. I'm the late one here. So many people streaming today. Enjoyed the show with Nigel earlier. Nigel's running the show, so he was asking the questions. Good show, man. Go and check it out if you can tomorrow. Go and give it a like, give it a little watch. We had Goldie on the show. I don't know if anybody knows this guy. He's more famous on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Doesn't really do lives, I don't think. But yeah, he seemed a good lad. He was a good guest. I don't think I've ever seen him on a live before. But yeah, he's a new guy on the scene. Setback FC, we got in the chat here. Big up to Scott in the chat as well. You're doing, Scott. Big up to you, mate. Yeah, lots of people here. We got no to Rob in the chat. Links to Neco Williams, Dan. Oh, really? What's the link? What's the source? Please tell me. I hope it's a good one. Because he's a tidy player, isn't he? He's a good player for Nottingham Forest. One of their key players, right? I hope so. Munoz as well. Yeah, that Rob. I did see that today. Jogging my memory now. But he's not for it. Okay, he's not coming. Maybe he's not coming. Big up to you, Rob. Yeah, people are keen. Kev's keen on Martinez. If we can, I'm not convinced with Kinski. Nah, neither am I, man. And Scott with what is the crazier view at Russell thinking Tell should win the Ballon d'Or, or Benji thinking Savinha will get 30 GA 30 assists? See, Benji, surely you didn't say that, mate. If you're still in the chat, maybe you've responded. Let me scroll down. I think he's exaggerating there, Scott. I think you're exaggerating. A bit of fun there. Surely you didn't say that. But madness. I think Nige even come out on the show tonight. He said that he's expecting like 17, 17 GA this season. Man, cool. If he gets that, he's done very well. I don't think so. That's the sort of numbers that we want though from a forward, right? A left winger. Good numbers, I guess. Has Sarr gone, Winkle? Nah, he ain't gone. He ain't gone anywhere unless anyone knows otherwise. Oh dear. You are ledge, mate. Keep up the great work. Cheers, Cookie man. Smashing it as well. You and Sheriff, man. Yeah, you're onto something, man. Keep going, man. Keep it up. Yeah, look, that's what Kev says here. We've got to go strong tonight. The players are so fine behind the fitness. It's terrible planning. I don't care that Australia, New Zealand was booked. Cancel it. Keep them at the lodge for fitness. Yeah, man, I agree with you. And it's 11 a.m. in Fiji in the morning there. We need a Dave Mackay, Winkle says. Big up to everyone. Let me go back to the conversation. I think we covered Savinho's. I think I have. I think everyone's had their bit on Savinho. Let's go on and see what else DeZerbi is saying today. Let's see what he says next. So a little bit more about Savinho. Why did it take so long? And he goes and says we've been questioning this throughout the summer. Yeah, we have, haven't we? We all asked why is it taking so long? What's the hold up? Why aren't City releasing him? What's going on there? Was it because that it took a little bit of time for Mahrez to come in at City? Maybe he wanted to have a look at him. Maybe he wanted to kind of convince him to stay. I don't know. Maybe they were looking for replacements, and City are going to go and pick up another winger, right? I think, guys. I think they're going to go and pick another one up, another one with potential. Maybe another Savinho type player to cover that one. Maybe it's a bit risky. I'm sure their scouting's good. I'm sure they'll be okay, but I don't know the name. I saw it. I can't remember who it is, but I'm sure someone knows in the chat. So why are we getting these forwards to start the season? Why are we still, this is what we'll be saying. Why is it taking so long to get the forwards in? Because they're major pieces, aren't they? The forwards lines are crucial for any side to do well in the season, right? We needed them in pre-season. We needed them weeks ago to get used to the training, to integrate them. But it's just been a massive delay, and it's caused us a problem. It's caused us. It's contributed to our defeat against Brentford. It has. We dropped points because of it. Dropped the ball, weren't we? We weren't been ready. The forwards are not here. It's the truth, isn't it? It's bad planning. Whatever people might say that ENIC are changing and ENIC are doing well, and they've never seen a transfer window like it. We still messed up, haven't we? Because we started the season unready without the forwards. So we're in our rights to actually say, look, it's not good enough. Okay, done some good bit of business, but we lost. We lost badly as well. We didn't have anyone who could score at the weekend. And again, Savinho, will he start tomorrow? Will he play a part? I hope so. I hope he gets off the bench, gets some minutes. And then we hope that he starts against Newcastle, because we're going to bloody need him, and Marmoush if that goes through as well. He needs to be thrown straight in. He's had a pre-season. You know Savino, they played together. Prem proven. This is the whole thing, isn't it? Spurs signing Prem proven players. Is that they're going to hit the ground running quicker than someone from Europe. Well, that's what I think anyway. Look, what was I saying? DeZerbi revealed that Tottenham started working on the Savino deal only a few days after the Everton game. You know, I think someone actually put a comment in the chat now. Big up. So essentially, they've been working on this for three months. And then De Zerbi admitted this. He says, I'm not patient. I have no patience. So he's like us, isn't he? But then he explained why they waited. His argument was basically that if you want the highest quality, sometimes you have to wait rather than just moving down your list and buying someone else. What do you reckon, guys, on that? I'm sure some of you in the chat may not agree with that or not. Or you may agree, you may not agree. Highest quality, eh? Savino, is he highest quality? Just think about it. In some aspects, yes. The way he moves the ball, the way he can take on players, quick feet, taking on players, creating things. But when I hear a word like this, highest quality, we're talking like a player that's got output, right, in the last few seasons, or contributes every season to the team. You know, you're going to get results out of that player. Highest quality. I don't know. Not sure. Obviously, DeZerbi backs him. He's the coach. He's the manager. Should know more football than me and many of us, right? He's saying this, man. The pressure's on, I tell you. He's got to deliver, isn't it? I hope he does, man. I really do. I hope he really comes good. Like, it's a lot of money. We need creativity. We need assists. We need goals. I hope he works out. We could. For that amount of money, man. Yeah, but we've seen it in other clubs, haven't we? Buy players, big transfer fee hasn't worked out. It can happen. Let's just hope it doesn't happen for Spurs. So I think there's two sides of this, right? It's a little bit more. So if Savino, right, was generally their number one target, and they believed they could eventually get him in, would I rather wait for DeZerbi, for the player DeZerbi says, rather than panic and spend £40 million on maybe someone they don't rate as highly? And we've seen do that. Spurs do this over the years, haven't they? They've not got their number one target. Just a prime example. Neto we were in, and then we ended up getting Wilson. Prime example of what a drop off from a Neto to a Wilson. Surely there was better players that we could have got than a Wilson. How's that worked out? Not well, was it? Not well at all. I don't know. So, like, if you've been negotiating for, say, 3 months, and ideally that player is through the door before the Premier League starts, because Savino hasn't had a pre-season DeZerbi, he hasn't built the relationships with players. And basically, Brentford showed us exactly what can happen when you got loads of new players. We didn't have loads. We had, 3 starters and another one came on second half. It just exposes you, doesn't it? And there's nothing better than getting these players in as soon as possible in pre-season, working together, working DeZerbi's system. As many pre-season games as possible, but it just hasn't happened, has it? And it's affected us. Or you may look at it like this as well. Do Spurs deserve some credit for sticking and waiting to get their target? It does sound like he was their number one target, and they did get him in. Whatever you think of the player, if he's going to be a success or not, if you like the player or not, they got their target. DeZerbi got his target. So I guess you have to give some praise with that, even though it's taken so long. But like with anything, we're all allowed to question it, isn't it? Why such a major part of the rebuild has rebuild, not even a rebuild, a build has gone right down to the end of August. So a question for the chat, and go back in the chat in a minute. Do you think Spurs deserve credit for waiting for their number one target? Or should a deal they've been working on for almost 3 months have been completed earlier? I know what a lot of you are going to say, so I will skim over it. But maybe there's some different people with different opinions in there. It'll be interesting to know what you guys think. Let's jump straight back into the chat. Let's go down to the bottom and move up. Let's have a little look here. Let's see if anyone else has joined us. Let's go up a little bit. Where shall I go? Guys, smash the like button if you could. It really helps the channel. Subscribe if you're new and all of that. A lot of people in the channel. I know all of you. So I'm sure you're regular subscribers to the channel. So big ups to you for coming down and giving us a watch this late. Rob, very sensible comment, man. Rob's normally very level-headed. I'd rather wait longer for the player DeZerbi actually wants than just buy someone else's for the sake of it. No, in that aspect, Rob, I agree. But it's got to work, isn't it, Rob? It's got to work. It's got to hit that signing, that money. And I hope it does, as I said. Big up to Michael in the chat. Savinho improves the team, but is not in the top 10 wingers across June in Europe. Nowhere near it. Interesting comment. Top 10 wingers. Anyone could name the list of top 10 wingers, and we all know the obvious ones, right? But I'm sure there's others out there which are better than Savinho with more output, more productivity, whatever you want to say. Yeah, I don't know where he ranks. Got to be at least top 20, right? Savinho? Surely? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe you don't think that. Let us know in the chat. Interesting conversation there. Let's have a little look down here. Winkle says, anything to do with Lange is a fiasco. Look at him. He's a drip. Bloody Lange, man. Surely he'll be kicked out of the club at some point, eh? What's he contributed to this window? Has he been closing the deals? I don't think he has. It's been that other bloke, isn't it? Mawson. He's been closing the deals, but I don't think he's the scouting. He doesn't scout the players. He's more the financial man, right? Experience of closing deals. Who was doing the scouting? Is it just the list of obvious players that Spurs can sign? It's not rocket science, is it? You know, cherry pick good players in the Premier League. Well, will they come to Spurs? I mean, that's not the hard part. Obviously, the harder part is convincing the player to come. That's the hard part, especially trying to convince them to come into a team which has finished 17th 2 seasons running and almost got relegated. Money talks. Of course, money talks. You throw down the money, you pay it. DeZerbi's been picking up the phone a lot, hasn't he, over the summer, trying to convince these players to come. And I think if it wasn't for DeZerbi ringing these players, would they come? I don't know. Imagine Lange ringing you up. I don't think he's going to convince you to come. Isn't he the most boring bloke I've ever heard in my life? I just don't know why he's here. He should have been sacked after last season. Disaster. His transfer record at Spurs is just a disgrace. I don't think Paratici is much better either, by the way. When are the club actually going to go and sign a serious director of football or a football operator at the club who's really has a vision, what aligns with the manager, aligns with the fan base? You know, if ENIC do want to turn this club into a serious team, you need winners, you need leaders, you need people with football in nous. I don't know, man. I hope these people come in, you know, over the next couple of seasons. Like there is like a massive upgrade in that kind of football operation area. I really hope so because we need it. Lange, Vinay, we're questioning. People are not convinced by Vinay at all. Neither am I. Time will tell, of course. It will. Scott reckons, but we got Savinho, not the highest quality. Yeah, I didn't think you thought it would be the highest quality, Scott. Definitely one of the guys I thought and wouldn't agree with that. Got Big Vic in the house. Big up to Big Vic. Sorry if I missed your comment up later in the chat, mate. Big up to you, mate. Let's see what else people are saying here. And Scott says there's no excuse not to have at least one attacker in July. 100%, mate. There was an excuse. Poor from Spurs. But was Marmoush their top target? So it's the same sort of situation, isn't it? Or was he a newer target? I don't know where he's on the list. Maybe we'll know once, you know, like we have with Savinho and it's been released today and you can talk about it in the press conference. Maybe when we do get Marmoush over the line, fingers crossed, because it's not 100% done yet. I don't think it hasn't been announced. So maybe we'll kind of find out a little bit more about the insight around that transfer and see if he's been a long-term target. Was he a target, you know, after the Everton game? It'll be good to find out. Scott says in the chat, we might not like it, but we need to give DeZerbi time to get all the players to gel, to build relationships. 100%, Scott, of course. Of course we do. This is not something that's not going to work overnight. And this is why expectations for me this season is not that much. It's not that much. I do have things that I want to see. I have kind of expectations, but expectations when people say like, yeah, we with that level of spending, we must finish in the Champions League spot. I just think it's crazy. And there are fans still out there thinking, look, once we got these forwards in, once we got this team up and running, it's a realistic target. It's too early to know that. It's well too early. This team is going to need time. And by the time the team pull itself together, we might be far off it. Maybe we can push for Europe second part of the season, and if everything goes to plan, if everything clicks, we don't get too many serious injuries. Because there's question marks with the squad over kind of depth cover, isn't it? We all saw what happened in Brentford. You get 4 or 5 of those players in your side, you're in trouble. Like Tell, Richarlison, Moore, Bergvall, Archie Grant, right back. Could happen, right? Could suffer injuries throughout the season and have to rely on these guys. Your level of performance is going to drop off massively. So we're going to need a little bit of luck with injuries this season. And when does that ever happen at Spurs? Never. And yeah, you're just going to have to see what happens. So expectations for me are not mad, very sensible. And in the show up with Nigel earlier as well, a lot of people were in the chat. They were saying 10th, 12th, 8th, possibly. There was 2 people who said 6th, and that was Nigel and Kelvin in the chat. They said 6th is achievable. Of course, it's not impossible, but I wouldn't put any money on it. Don't know. What would you guys? Finishing 6th? I wouldn't put money on it. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? Because the club have invested a lot of money, but it's so many new players, isn't it? So much to prove. Kev says, I want the highest quality medical team and strength and conditioning department at Spurs. Agree, man, 100%. Something's bigger being right behind the scene. Something big being right behind the scenes. Abnormal amount of injuries. Stacking up for 2 years. I think they have reviewed the whole medical department and there's been changes. I just hope it's gonna help the side. I don't know. I hope so, man. I hope so. Big up to Wayne in the chat, man. Evening, lad. Hope you're good. I'm good, man. How you doing? How did Leicester get on, man? What's going on? What happened in the cup tonight? What were the results? You told me you were going to watch it. Let me go and have a quick look at the result, man. I know you didn't have a lot of hope on it, and you said you're concentrating on the league this season. What was the results? Carabao Cup. It was away, I think it was, wasn't it? Ipswich 3-1. What was the performance like? What was the lineup like, Wayne? Get anything out of that game? Obviously, you're playing a higher opposition, aren't you? So it's going to be a tough game, that. Ipswich. Yeah. I probably may have thought it would be a defeat. Tough one, really, wasn't it? Away from home. Don't know how full strength you went. Bob in the chat says, Savino lacking clinical finish. That has been a highlight. Film's all about him dribbling. Odd thing is, the film shows why he has no clinical finish. He holds onto the ball too long. While he's holding. Yeah, look, why does he have a problem in that area? Why is he not clinical finisher? Why hasn't he got, more goals and assists? He's playing with quality players around him, right? So it's not on them, He's playing with some of the best players around. Is it a worry? Yeah, of course. Of course it's a worry, but I don't know. Again, I have reservations. And like DeZerbi says in his press conference, the player's got to find another level, isn't he? He's demanding him find another level. He's set the gauntlet. Madness. Let's see what other comments there in the chat. Michael says, my view is that the reputation of club was so poor under Levy that many players wouldn't even consider coming in. It takes time to change perceptions. Very good comment, Michael. I agree with you, man. It's going to take time, isn't it? But these players are all joining. They're all jumping on this DeZerbi project. A lot of players signed. So many players signed. I can't remember a transfer window like this before. You possibly could have 7 or 8 new starters in the team, man. What a change around. Obviously, they're not all going to start. You know, players like Van der Ven will be straight in the side. Will Doggy be considered instead of Robertson? He's a player who can never stay fit. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you'll be playing Robertson or Doggy based on the position. Good to have some different options, is there? But the Doggy, let's all be honest here, he won't stay fit throughout the season. He will definitely not. Yeah, Scott's talking about tough game for you guys today, although maybe the best to be out of it early. He's just talking about that Ipswich result today. Rob's also talking about while Savino dribbling backtracking wingers is not enough to make Savino rush his passes and shots. Well, look, he's got to improve in that area, man. He's going to have to. Hopefully, he gets off to a good start. Maybe he's a confidence player. Maybe he's lost confidence. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he just couldn't get to grips with what Pep wanted. Could be a bit of that. Does DeZerbi just need to simplify his game a bit more? Just give him a set position, give him a set role. This is what you need to do. How's he going to get on against low blocks? Really, a tricky dribbling winger should help against the low blocks, right? Getting out of tight spaces, getting to the byline, cutting in, taking on players, creating chaos against teams in the low block. And then on the other end of the scale, when we're playing teams who like to push up a bit high, a bit of pace in behind, that's where we'll be effective. But again, like Rob, you say about his end product, yeah, it's got to be worked on, doesn't it? I mean, how old is he? How old is Savino, guys? 22, is it? Am I right? I think he's 22, still young. But he's had a lot of games. He's got a lot of experience, played a lot of big games. You know, surely, you know, that game, part of his game should be better. And this is why there's a lot of question marks over Savino. There's a lot of hope, really, isn't it, with Savino, if he's going to come good? There's a lot of hope because we just don't know. Big up to Jezza in the chat. Evening to you. You can only control what you control. Fair enough, mate. Smash the like button, man. Cheers, Russell. A few comments in the chat. Shavil says, Prem proven suits this window, but longer term, we need a better scanning network. 100%, man. It's all part of what I was saying not long ago. But the whole kind of football operations, scouting's got to be better. So much better. If we want to compete, we can't smash money on every signing. Sometimes there's got to be a clever bit of business in there. There's gems out there. There's good players out there with right scouting, good scouting can come into this Spurs team and help the squad. 100%, man. It's got to improve. It's not been good enough, has it, at Tottenham Hotspur? Let's have a look at some other results. What's Wayne says here? Let's have a look. Leeds draw West Ham once, I believe. It's just about the next round. Is there any other interesting results today in the Carabao Cup? Any shocks? Let's have a little look. Go to the headlines. Can't see anything. Don't think there's been any giant killings. Let's have a little look around. Have a look at the results. I ain't had a chance to look at it tonight. West Ham smashed Southampton 4-1 away from home. Hull drew. Hull won on penalties. Getting through against Stoke. Watford are out. Local team to me, Watford, not far from where I live. They get smashed 5-1 to Peterborough. And look at Brentford tonight, going to Birmingham 6-1. Cool, Brentford, eh? What a great start to the season they've made. Wilson, Hickey, Collins, Damsgaard, Thiago. Bloody hell. I don't really know much about Birmingham and what sort of side they are, but they made a good start to the season, haven't they? Brentford goals, wins, breeds confidence. And yeah, they're going to have goals this season, Brentford. They are. They just missed out last season, right, on Europe, didn't they, by goal difference? They had such a good season. And it was probably because of injuries, squad depth. It just fell short. And this season, I'm sure they're going to want to push for those European spots. Why not? You know, got some ambition there. Recruitment they make is very clever. Can they sustain that? Maybe. Keith Andrews, eh? You know, he's coach at Brentford's taking the role. Bloody done mad, didn't he? Obviously he knows the club. He's been at the club. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the players. There's a bit of an advantage there, but I don't think he's ever managed anywhere. He's doing really well, isn't he? Fair play to him. I mean, when Frank left, they got better, didn't they? I think I don't know what Frank's highest finish was at Brentford, but yeah, I don't think Andrew's done. I think he done better. I think maybe in the first season. I know it's only one season. We'll see what happens this season, but yeah, bit of expectation at the club, eh, guys? Go down the chat. Let's bring up some more comments. Kev says, "You're right. Ralph Mawson has a big hand in pulling these signings we have. He's gone under the radar. I bet Lange is taking the credit for the sad sack. The sad sack. Sorry, mate. I just misread that." Jezza says, "Right. Realistically, we're likely mid-table. Yeah. Why would it be any more? What is that? Where's the evidence that we can do better? We ain't seen it. We don't know. Time and games will give us that kind of more of the evidence of where we can be this season. We'll have to see. It's exciting, isn't it, guys? Going into the season, I know it's been a crap start, but I'm really intrigued to see how if this comes together, if it comes together, how it's going to look, how these new players going to settle in. How's De Zerbi going to get it all together? Got no Europe. There's going to be plenty of time on the training pitch to work on things week to week. So look, he's got an advantage there not being in Europe this season. And yeah, look, fans have got expectations. We all do. We want to win games. We want to win home games. We want to compete in the derbies. Want to do well in the cups. Try and win it. I know I'm not saying we have to win it, but we've got to try and compete, get to a final, semi-final, try and go all the way. Depends on the draw. We want to have a little bit of pride back in the club, right? Start winning games again, watching some better football. We're going to make a start, haven't we? It's just been atrocious the last 2 seasons. Rob says about his countryman Martinelli is better than Savinho. Martinelli, first cream football somewhere. Must find first team football somewhere. Sorry, man. Can't say clearly Savinho will push Tau out first team. Well, bloody hell, Rob, mate. What are you saying here? You're saying that Tau's on par better than Savinho, or you're not convinced, are you, mate? Not convinced. Michael in the chat says 7th. 7th. Possibly, maybe. Who knows? Time will tell. 7th would be a good season for Spurs, especially on the last 2. Very good season. Let's be honest here. And then Wayne's telling me the result after I finally caught up with what I said. 3-1 loss, but played really well. Well, this is it, isn't it? There's losing the game, being in the game and competing. And then there's losing the game like how Spurs lost the game at the weekend, where you actually learn nothing other than some of these players can never play again, but we don't want to see them again. We don't want to see certain players in position. Wake up call, DeZerbi, right? Don't make some stupid errors like that again. Knowing that, and he even said it. He even said it in the press conference after the Brentford defeat. I knew Bergvall may struggle in this type of fixture, but you still played him anyway. You said that Bentancur would have been a better option, but you chose to bench him. Yeah, look, managers make mistakes. Let's hope that he gets them out the way early. And yeah, we can't be having performances like that. Look, we will have bad performances throughout the season. I take it. We will lose games. It won't look pretty at times, but you don't want many of those type of performances like Saturday. Fans that won't tolerate it, won't accept it. We've got to do something in games. We've got to show more, so much more. Let's have a look at this. Winkle says, hope it's not a Gareth Bale turn out magnificent. Hope it's not a Gareth Bale turn out magnificent. Big up to Winkle, man. Big up to you, mate. 3-1 flattered them, Wayne said. Yeah, sounds like Leicester did all right. I don't know what kind of team Ipswich put out. Was it their strong team? Was there changes? I don't know, but still not easy, is it? Scott says, damn, what about Leo from Milan? Guys, you back on the Leao train? Again, fans differ to opinion with him coming to the club. Some people say snap him up. Some say don't touch him with a barge pole. I just think we need attackers in, man. I'll just take him. Take him, man. We need attacking talent in this side. We need game changers. We need people who can do things out of nothing. Change games. And I think he can do that if DeZerbi can kind of get the best out of him, right? Just kind of get him back playing like he did a few seasons ago for AC Milan, where his numbers were good. Fortunately, they've gone on the decline. There's many reasons people say why that's happened. Maybe he needs a new challenge. But yeah, interesting one, Liao. I probably would take him now. Maybe a loan option to buy. I think AC Milan just want him sold, don't they? I think the price is around 40 million. Would you take it, guys? Would you take him? Yeah, I probably would now, but I mean, I'm not totally convinced with him. But who for us to say? Finished 17th. I don't know, guys. Honestly, let's go to the chat a little bit more. Sávio was talking about output fell to Pep. Yeah, said something a bit similar to Grealish. Good point, Rob. Hope so, man. I really do. Evening to Adam in the chat. I'm concerned that we're going to be a mess for a while with all these players we signed and players we're going to sign. We need to be able to compete. That Brentford performance was very alarming. Yeah, it was just shocking. It was terrible. We can't see that again, man. Brentford slapping everyone. Who they got at the weekend? Brentford. Do you think they got a tricky away game? Am I right? Am I thinking? I don't know. Why we're worried about Brentford? We've got to worry about Spurs. But yeah, Rob said Brentford look very good right now. They have benefited massively by not having as many players at the World Cup. They're ready, fit, and well coached. 100% spot on, man. And Rob says the question comes up often about scouting. Is it poor scouts or scouts? An institutional failing? I think with scouting. When Ashley was scouted at Blackburn, didn't they see Adam while there? Hold on a second. Just want to turn up my screen color a bit so I can see it a little bit more. When Ashley was scouted at Blackburn, okay, Ashley Phillips, right? Didn't they see Adam while there? Sorry, man. Adam Wharton. Sorry, Adam Wharton. Yeah, they missed the boat. In a nutshell, Rob, they missed the boat with Wharton. Good player, isn't he? Yeah, sorry, I had to think a little bit there. You're talking about, yeah, but I'm with you now, man. Dan, I think you'll finish 10th to 12th. Sorry. Well, we went over it, didn't we, Wayne? And we spoke about it Friday. A lot of question marks we had, didn't we, mate? We had a lot of question marks, and it was good to hear from you as an outsider. Non-biased opinion. And I think a lot of fans, if you're sensible, if you've got your head screwed on, 10 to 12 is a sensible prediction, right? Finishing 17th for the last 2 seasons, new team, new manager, new system, takes time. Is it too safe? Some fans will say you've been too safe as a fan. Well, maybe. What is DeZerbi wanting? What do you think DeZerbi's? Because we've all heard what DeZerbi's come out and said. DeZerbi has said, "Let the pitch do the talking." So many changes, new players, going to take time. Players got to get used to the system. He's not putting much expectation. That's what the message is to the press, to the fans. Maybe he's got another target behind closed doors. Maybe he wants Europe. Maybe he doesn't want to put the team under unnecessary pressure so early. I don't know. What do you reckon? What do you think DeZerbi's real target is, which he maybe not disclosing to the fans and the press? Scott said this before, goals is what wins you games, and we just don't score enough. And there'll be still a lot of strikers out there and are much better than what we have. Yeah, man, of course. This is what I mean. I don't have this excuse where you hear it from fans that there's no forwards out there anymore. There's just not a market for them. Same with the wingers. Bloody hell, man. What's the whole point of a scouting department? they get paid so much money to do this job. Go and scout the players. It's not an excuse for me not to sign goal scorers and people who can create. Plenty of talent out there. We're Tottenham Hotspur, man. We should be able to find good players. Yeah, you can't get your number one target. Who's the third one on the list? Who's the second? Who's the third one on the list? Surely there's a lot of players out there. Yes, they dug their heels in for Savinho, and they got him over the line eventually. I don't know. Cool, it makes you so thirsty when you're talking online. I need a guest on. Scott, you in the chat? Fancy jumping on with Give me a bit of a break, or anyone in the chat wants to come on. I don't know if there's any other YouTubers in here. Scott, let me know, mate. Pop me a message on my WhatsApp. I'll send you the link if you fancy it, mate. Don't know if you're what you're up to, but it'd be good to have a little someone else to come on and get involved with the chat. Big up to everyone in the chat, man. Appreciate you all being here tonight. Thanks for your comments. Some great comments tonight. Really good comments. Let's go to a couple more before I kind of move on to DeZerbi. Let's go here to Kev. Let's have a look here. Is this a one-off season with the way we're approaching signing players? Am I flirting with the idea that ENIC have changed, wage increase and breaking the transfer record twice? What's your thoughts? Well, I mean, I've made it very clear on streams on my show, other shows have been on. I've got to see this. This has got to be the same every window. I'm not saying we always have to spend £100 million on a player. Don't always have to with good scouting, good business. But if there's an ideal player that we need in this team, which is going to help us next season or future seasons, then yeah, look, we just got to go and get it. But there's going to be a kind of point where the team are going to have to qualify for the Champions League or Europe's, but specifically Champions League, because can we keep spending this level of money as spending every transfer window? I don't think so. I think we can this season. The rules have changed. We've got a lot of give with the wage ratio, whatever. I'm not great with the finances. I leave that to some of the other guys on YouTube. But just common sense, right? Can you keep spending this level of money without achieving something like Champions League football, which brings so much more money to the club? Yes, we've got all the events at the stadium. That's going to contribute, obviously, to our spending. But if you do look at it, we've kind of balanced the sheet out a lot. We've got a lot of players out. So that's going to help as well. So I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? I just think once you kind of built the team to a certain stage, then you don't have to go so mad with the spending like this summer. This summer we've had to do it because the squad has been so bad and we've nearly got relegated and we needed to upgrade so many players. So look, let me see. It's a good question, man. It's very thought provoking. Yeah, I'm just going to send you this link, Scott, mate. Yeah, mate. Have your dinner, mate. Relax. Have your dinner, mate, and come on when you're ready. Let me send you the link when I'm talking, and I'll get back to the chat. Cool. It's like 10-1, man. I wonder how much energy I've got left. Probably I've got a bit more time. I'm feeling it. Got a bit more energy to keep going. I didn't even cover the points I want to talk about. Maybe I should just go back to what I'm covering to make sure I get out, because there are some important things I wanted to get across just to help with the good discussion with the show. Some things that interest me, maybe some of you guys who are watching. Let me just get the link to Scott over in here and you can get him on. 1 second, guys. Multitasking, eh? Not always the best of a multitasker. Men are not always known in it for being good multitaskers. Let's have a little look. Let me just send him a link. All done. Right, let's go on. Let's crack on with the chat. Rob, what are you saying here? The thing that makes me feel better about the weekend is that the other teams who have players that at the World Cup haven't looked great. Either United, City, Liverpool, Chelsea. Let me read that again, Rob. The thing that makes me feel better about the weekend is that the other teams who had players at the World Cup haven't looked great. Let's go over it. Obviously, United, poor defeat, wasn't it? They didn't turn up, didn't have the fight, got done by a couple of set pieces. Had lots of chances, I think. I don't know if they were clear-cut chances, plenty of the ball, but yeah, Hull done a job on them. They weren't ready, were they? City, last-minute winner, wasn't it? Cherky, bit of magic. And Liverpool, yeah, didn't get a great report either. And Chelsea just got it over the line yesterday against a new-looking Fulham side with a new manager. Is the ex-Real Madrid manager gone to Fulham? Am I right, guys? Is that the guy? I think so. So good result for Chelsea, but people said they weren't amazing. They weren't amazing. They got talent, haven't they, Chelsea? They've got people who can do things. Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, had a poor season last year. Looks well up for it this year. New drive, new motivation. So crazy things about Chelsea, though, so early. Chelsea can finish second. I don't know, based on what? Why? they've had an okay window, I guess. They've signed some good players, but that defence, that doesn't really. I don't think they've got a great defence. Got some good midfielders, but the depth is not brilliant. Attacks, they've got some talented attackers. The attack's pretty good. Joel Pedro, player seems to be getting better season to season. Took his goal very well, didn't he, yesterday? First time pass from Palmer. It was quality win you games. Quality wins you games. And players like that will win them a lot of games. But over a course of a season with injuries, squad depth, got a good manager, talented manager. Don't know, guys. You think Chelsea can finish second? I don't know. I just think it's too early to come out with something like that. They were even talking about it on Sky Sports that Chelsea could finish second. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. There's not seemed to be any other than Arsenal. No one's really talking anyone else up in this Premier League this season, are they? People are saying, well, Man United, because they're in the Champions League, they're going to drop off. They got playing with an old defence from 3 years ago. Yes, they signed, what's his name, Belieber from Brighton. He's going to improve them for sure. Got a lot of attacking options. I just think their fullbacks are not that great, Man United. I think they need a left back. I think they need probably another centre back. So question marks all over the place. Let's get him. Let's bring in Scott, mate. Let's bring him in. Scott, evening to you, buddy. How are you? Thank you for joining us. I was getting a bit tired talking, man. And then I thought
it can be a little tough. I always credit people who go on their own.
Yeah,
I think some people get jazzed up and energized by it, but you do a good job of it. So, but I'm here. I have a quick chat. I know you're lagging, and I can only stay for a little bit, but good chance to talk a little bit.
Yeah, tell me, what's been the convo on YouTube tonight? I've obviously done a show with Nige. We had our thing going on. What has been the main talking points that you've come across tonight? You obviously we're on Benji's show, yeah? Did you go on Benji's show?
I didn't go on. I saw Benji's. I was watching yours and Benji's kind of at the same time, trying to listen to both as you can. I was on with Danny and Stell and
that's it, Danny.
Earlier.
Danny, that's the one. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main one we're talking about now, of course, is Sávio, and I think that the conversation we're going to have all season long about it is, the potential versus production, right? A lot of people that like him like his potential, and I don't deny that either. I think he's a talented player, but is he going to be able to take that talent and get the numbers now that he's away from City? And I think there is some validity that sometimes Pep asks you to do something, right? Not just Pep. I think any team, really, any of those big teams when you play in, it's very much more about the team than the individual, right? When you're playing, I think even at Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, the Arsenal squads right now, they're much more about let's get the win first, and then if you get your numbers, great. But you're not going to just rack up numbers if it's not what the team needs, right? So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I'm kind of neutral. I know it's not great for YouTube. You were supposed to have extreme.
You're on the fence. You're on the fence on this one, Scott. You don't know.
I'm not that excited by it, but I'm not angry by it, right? If I didn't like the signing, I would be I'd be making it well known. I'm not excited in a vacuum, but if we do get, I think, Marmoush and a Gakpo, then I'm much more excited for it, because I think that puts Sávio more in a role that's better for us, where he's not relied to be a main goal scorer, right? But we'll see what happens. It's intriguing, at least.
Scott, have you got a washing machine going on in the background? Oh, it's stopped now.
Can you hear?
What is that? Have you got is someone mowing the lawn?
No, it might be my fan. Maybe it's my computer fan, but even that's not going.
Can you hear it?
No, it's dead quiet in here.
Is it me? It's not me.
Here, I'll just mute and you talk for a little bit and see if it goes away.
Try coming in and coming out again, mate. Let's just see if that works. There's a funny sound in the background. Yeah, while Scott's got to sort that. Did you hear it in the chat? The kind of maybe like a kind of something, I don't know, a dishwasher? Something was buzzing in the background there. Don't know if you hear it in the chat, guys. Let us know. Adam's come out and said this. Would you take Bilal El Kanous in for the 10 for the time being? Our 10s are crocked. I mean, the club have got to be looking at someone, Adam, right? If they were sensible enough, knowing the season ahead and the creativity issue in central areas. Of course, if he had if the scouting's right on him and he's got the right mentality to come into Spurs, come and play in the Premier League, has he got the physicality to do it? I don't know. This is the job of the scouting department, isn't it? That's what it is. Let's have a listen now, Scott. Better. Oh,
Better now?
it's a little bit noisy, but I can cope with it, mate. I can cope. It's
Oh,
fine. No problem. It's all right. I'll turn my mic down. I'll turn my earphones down a bit, and then it's better. Perfect. Yeah. So, what do you reckon of this comment, Scott? Bill Alcanus is a number 10 for this season.
yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite choice, but I think he could fill a role, and I think it's something that we need. Um, I think that's where we're kind of often at now, right? It's like, would you take him over what we have? Yes. Over what else is out there? I would think that there's better players out there, but Wayne is saying I see him in the chat at Leicester. He was impressive. He did go. What I do like to see is when somebody's at a lower level like Leicester and then they move to another league if they're still good, right? I think he went to Germany this year and he produced well. He did well there, so that's always good to see, right? Because we can't expect everybody is playing top 6 Premier League, right? We're going to have to get some players from the other leagues. And one of the things that is good is when you see somebody producing at multiple clubs and multiple leagues. So I would take him if that's the one. I'm not going to say that I watched his games last year to give a
No,
full scouting
Scott.
report on him, but you
I,
read about him, you can look at enough stuff now that we have on the internet to get an impression. And
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, man. And I remember now we were linked to him last summer. I remember a particular YouTuber was singing his praises, thought he'd be a good player, talented young player, could do a job at Spurs. So yeah, maybe it's a good shout. I mean, we need some solutions to that creativity problem, number 10, which was a massive issue, wasn't it, on Stale's show last night? Long old discussion about that number 10 issue and the goals, lack of goals, creativity, the concerns that we have as fans. Um, but yeah, look, let's just go for a couple more comments in the chat. And then we're going to go back to the press conference, Scott. I just want to get your take on things as well while you joined us. And please, man, stay as long as you want or as little as you need to, man. If you've got things to do, there's no pressure at all, buddy. Appreciate you coming on. Let's go to the chat here. One Spurs King. Aim should be top 6 in a cup run, but I think we'll finish top 8 if we get a couple more attackers. Possible, man. If it all clicks, it all starts coming together. Yeah, why not? I mean, a lot of us are kind of sitting on the fence a bit. We're not putting big risks on the season, 10th, 12th, 8th. All a little bit cautious, Scott. And I think we're right to think that way after the last couple of seasons. I know you have, and like myself, have quite a few question marks over, the business that we've done and the holes in the squads and still hanging on to some of these stinky players. So I think, Scott, we're in the kind of right to be a little bit cautious with our optimism, mate.
yeah, I mean, I agree with like aim should be top 6 and a cup run top 8. Sure, I've said it. If we finish in the top 10, I'm fine with it this year. I think Brentford should be kind of an eye opener to us because a lot of Spurs fans kind of brush off teams like Brentford, brush off Brighton and Bournemouth because they have 2 games this year. Brentford showed they're not a team. They're not going to be challenging for the Premier League. But Brentford's a good team. Brentford will do well. They've been together for a while. Their organization as a football club is great. You see that they lose players and they plug the guys in, and those guys come in and produce right away because they know that the players they're bringing in fit exactly the mold that they want, right? So it's much easier to get them into their system. And I think, look, we all want to be at the top of the league. We all want to be winning cups. We all want it all to happen. But I think there's a lot of questions still. And that's where I do agree with the people that say it can't all be done in one window. I agree with that statement, which is why I think, just as Spurs King said, if we got top 6 and a cup run, that should be the goal. But top 8 would be a respectable finish, even if we get Marmoush, Sávio, Gakpo, and even if we got a 10 in here. It's going to take time.
Yeah, fair point. I agree, man. Totally agree. And evening to Grumbard in the chat here, not good enough, and reveals that DeZerbi is far from perfect. So he's talking Savino, Scott. I think you are Grumbard.
I wonder if he's talking about the game, because I don't know. It could be either or, just because
Maybe not.
there's a lot of like DeZerbi got a lot wrong, right? And he did get a lot of praise last year, where people kind of said he everything he touches is gold, and I think there was a little bit. We've talked about it before. He was getting a little bit raised up to a level, which is great. People are excited, but yeah, DeZerbi is a good manager. He isn't perfect.
Yeah,
That's right,
just
and he
because
got
we had
some
an
things
awful
wrong.
game. Yeah, it happens, right? No one's perfect. It was just so bad, wasn't it? And we had to speak about it. We've got to call this out. And I'm sure he's not happy with what happened that day. Yeah, he would have got off to a better start than that, and performance wise as well. It's your chat here, man. Frank finished 10th in this last season, matched Andrews' 9th third year ago. So okay, yeah, I get you, man. I didn't know 100% when I said that earlier in the show. I didn't know what Frank's highest finish for Brentford was. Was it 10th then? Was it? I'm sure it's got
No,
a
he
little bit
got
higher
ninth
than that.
3 years ago. I think
Three
that's when
years ago.
they had Embuemo. They had, I think that might have been Tony's last season there. I think Wissa came this season after, but they had a pretty like good team, right? So I think Andrews has shown though that he's a good manager, and that Brentford is very much not just a manager but top down. It's an important top down club. And
Oh
again,
yeah,
like we were talking, like I said with the players, they bring Keith Andrews in knowing that he's going to know how to work with the club, work with those players. He comes in and he knows what the plan is, and they're fully aligned. Something that we need to get similar at Spurs, I think.
yeah. A lot more work needs to go into it. And even into Spurs, Nepal, Bergvall saw out bringing Morgan gives White, Marmoush. Tell can play left wing. Savino on either wing. Badly need Solanke to step up. Yeah, big up to you, man. Yeah, we need a lot. It's got to come together somehow, this forward line, and we will find out, won't we, in the coming weeks? And big up, man. Big up to you. Look, let's go to the big up to everyone in the chat. Let me just go for a couple more. I want to get the chat, and I'm honestly sick and tired of second, third, fourth choice players on our list. That's where we've done for years, and it hasn't worked. Yeah, fair enough. We got to get our first targets in. I think it's the timing, Rob, which has frustrated a lot of fans, especially myself, Scott as well, and many others. That the timing really could have we got these forward players in earlier, and people will say, "Well, we can't force these players out of the club," but I mean, it's affected us, Scott. Like I said earlier on the show, it's not helped us, has it? With our
Yeah,
start.
I agree somewhat with Rob. The only thing I'll say is I think my issue is more that we seem to go from first choice to fourth choice. And I wish we did a little bit more of those second and third choices there. But
Yeah,
it does
yeah,
seem it's kind of like, oh, we don't get our first choice. Well, then let's just skip right down to the. I do agree. Like we want to get some of the better players, but I think I'd be okay if sometimes we did go for the second and third choice, rather than waiting like we are now, waiting forever for the first choice and then jumping over those those second and third choices and going to the fourth, maybe fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth choices sometimes.
yeah. I agree, man. Like for example, Neto to Odebert. That's the
Yeah,
prime example. Yeah, that's it. That's what we did.
yeah,
It's just
and I
terrible.
mean, he's not as maybe it's not as harsh, but we're looking at Morgan Gibbs White, and then we're looking at Ezzy, and then we end up going with Simmons, who Simmons isn't like terrible, but you know what I mean. It seemed like we just kind of we didn't have a second or third choice after those guys. Yeah,
Mm.
Neto to Odebert. I don't even know what we did for Tell. Oh,
What was the other
it's
one the
just
other season? What's his name? That guy, a French player. They came
oh,
in
we had the one year where Bastoni, and then we brought in Longley.
long, yeah, long gap.
Uh,
It
we've
weren't
had a
great, was
few.
it?
That's the problem. Who was it? Jose. He wanted Skriniar, and then we went and got Joe Roden. Like it's just
Oh dear, there's some shockers in the past, some big shockers. Big V in the chat, big up to you. Big Vic B needed a dose of optimism after Saturday. I'm sure Scott will provide an uplifting analysis. Scott, I mean Scott, I don't think you've been too bad lately, mate. I thought you'd been pretty
No,
positive. I didn't
Danny and I joke now because I went on the stream and who was it? Oh, Benji was just killing Bentoncourt, and I and I was saying I can't be as negative as Benji here. So yeah, I mean, look, it's all fun with Big Vic here, anyways. But I think after you see a 3-0 loss, which flattered us, it's hard. It's hard to find many positives, but we'll still find some. We'll find positives when they're there and criticisms when they're there as well.
Right, let's crack on to this thing. This is a funny thing here. The players are not like smartphones. I don't know what's going on with this here. So this was, quite an interesting comment today. DeZerbi, right? This is so when he was asked about Plan B, Plan C, he basically said the players are not like smartphones. You see this, Scott, today? You read this, guys, in the chat?
I didn't see that. I saw part of it. Brian Daigle was going over it, and so I missed the first part. So I've only caught bits and pieces of it. I didn't hear the smartphones, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, look, the smartphones, different personality, different mentality, different characteristics, different potential, different experience. And then De Zerbi made another important point. The players aren't joining De Zerbi Football Club, they're joining Tottenham Hotspur. And he said that Tottenham is bigger than the coaches and the players and said the policy of the club is clear. I actually think that's interesting when we discuss the recruitment because there's always this argument, right? Is this a De Zerbi signing? Is this a recruitment team signing? Has De Zerbi asked for him? I don't think it should purely work like that. The ideal recruitment structure should be, does the player fit De Zerbi's system, right? But also, does the player fit Tottenham beyond De Zerbi? Because, and I'm going to go to you, Scott, in a minute, and we'll go to the chat. It's a really interesting discussion here because managers don't stay forever. And Savinho being only 22, I was right earlier, actually. I said he was 22. Even if De Zerbi disappeared in 2 or 3 years, Tottenham should hopefully still possess an extremely valuable footballer. Question for the chat and to Scott. Should Spurs be building specifically for De Zerbi, or should the recruitment strategy always be bigger than the manager? Look at that. That's a juicy one, isn't it?
Well, I think what you see, the best clubs are able to manage both, right? They're able to manage both what the manager needs and the long term needs of the club. I would use Liverpool as the perfect example. Liverpool is probably I would say the model franchise club for the last 5 years, 10 years, maybe,
yep.
right?
No, I agree. Yep.
They've done it as well as you could. City, obviously, but nobody can do what City does, or not many clubs can. And you saw, right, when they had everything that Klopp needed, they built a squad that worked for Klopp. But then when Klopp left and Slot came in, because they were buying quality players, it worked for Slot. Slot won the league with many of those same players, right? And that's my one concern about us not having a director of football, because I think that director of football is somebody who can help to do that, right? You can look at it. For me, the example that I use right now is Bergvall, and I know that's more of a sale than a buy. But if you're Roberto De Zerbi and you're worried that, hey, maybe sometime, or I mean, he played him today, but my example was you might need him in December. Does Roberto De Zerbi care if Bergvall doesn't play for 2 months and his development is stalled? Maybe not. And he could, right? That's fine. That's not really his job. His job isn't necessarily to worry about that. He might just be worried about, I might need De Zerbi at some, or I might need Bergvall at some time, so don't sell him. I might need Souza sometime, so don't loan him out. And I think that's where you need to have that balance where you can say, fair enough, if you need a Bergvall level player, well, we can do something like that where it doesn't cost us 60 million, right? The 60 million that we can get for Bergvall. So I think we're kind of seeing that the manager needs to worry about this season, and his vision should only be for this season. And when you have a director of football, they can kind of see the overall value for it. And I don't think we have that now. That's my concern. We don't have that right now. Sounds
No,
like De Zerbi's very much the director of football. Lang might be that in name, but I don't think any of us think that he's actually got the ability or he's doing that job.
I think I think it's very clear De Zerbi's playing a massive part into in this recruitment. I mean, he's demanded, he's asked, he's talked, he sat down and planned with the recruitment team of who's coming in, who he wants in. He seems to be getting in a lot of his targets. Are they all first choice? Possibly. Who knows? We don't know. But it's a really interesting question.
Chat. Is Dan frozen for everybody, or is it just me? Maybe I'm the one who's frozen. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Curly. Russell, okay. Well, I'll keep talking. Yeah, I think the other thing that we want to do, make sure, is we saw it, the other way for Spurs, where we saw what happens if there's too much involvement from the club, where we're bringing in guys like, why can't I think of his name? Matt Doherty. We bring him in from Wolves and tell Jose, here's a guy, Jose, who's always played a back four, never played with a back three. We're going to give you a wing back to play for you. We don't want that either, right? It has to be a synergy between the club and the manager. I think we're doing a decent job of that. I do have questions about Robertson. I have questions. Senesi, I don't mind. I think Senesi works. I fully believe that when people say that it's possible for the manager and the club to both like a player, and I think Senesi definitely fills that role where he's a player that the club wanted and a player that fits for DeZerbi. But we'll see. Robertson, I'm not sure about. Dubravka seems to be a player that DeZerbi wants. I do think that Kinski and DeZerbi that's 100% a DeZerbi decision. I think he decided that that's the player he wants. I think he decided he wants to make sure that he is the number one guy that we have. I do think if it was more up to a DOF, we might have had a different, I shouldn't say better in my view, backup than Dubravka. But if DeZerbi is fully invested in Kinski, then he's going to bring in a player that I think that he thinks supports Kinski rather than threatens him. Again, the right back, I don't know who's making that decision. It is hard for me to believe that DeZerbi really rates and wants Archie Gray as captain and right back. But it's also hard for me to believe that he's going to just sit there and quietly listen to the club telling him that Gray needs to be there. I'm not normally one to buy into all the conspiracy theories, but that is one that I can potentially believe that the club really does want Gray to be one of the faces of the club, that they really are pushing to have Gray in an important role, and that DeZerbi's willing to accept that in there, because I just can't imagine that DeZerbi, with his experience and what he already knows about football, can think that with Tonali, Robertson, Van Hecke, Gallagher in that lineup, that the proper choice was to have Archie Gray as the right back. Not as the right back so much as the captain and as the right back. He doesn't fit what DeZerbi wants his right backs to do. If Gray was the third choice right back, even if you said, hey, we're playing. Why can't I think of the team that we're playing this weekend or tomorrow? Sorry, if we're playing tomorrow in the cup game, sure, Archie Gray can fill in for right back there, but not Brentford the first game of the season. DeZerbi has to want somebody better than that there. Russell, would I want Jonathan David? I've said it a few times. First off, as people, you might be surprised to hear, Russell, I don't always just back Canadians because they're Canadians. I'm very harsh on the team, and there's not many players from the Canadian team that I would have here. Charlton, thank you very much. Spurs King one. Oh, one Spurs King. Jonathan David, yes, I would have him in a specific role. I think he would be perfect guy to have as the first one off the bench. I don't want him in a starting role, but he's very effective. He can play left, right, or central. He can play any of those roles. So if you had him where we had, say, like again, a Marmouche, you have Kudos, you have Gakpo, and then the first player off the bench would be Jonathan David. I think he would be really good in that role because he could fill in for any of them. But I just don't see him as being a guy who's going to go out and get you enough goals in the Premier League that you want him to be your main striker. So he would be somebody who, if we brought in the right role, he would work well. And I'd probably prefer him in that role definitely than say Matisse
Back.
Tell. You're back.
Don't know what happened. My internet just completely shut off. I went and checked the box, flashing, come back. I'm here. I don't know what happened there. Sorry about that. Cheers, Scott, for
No,
running
because
the
at
show.
first I wasn't sure, and I didn't know if I was frozen, but coming through, and then you're trying to talk, and all you can hear is my jumbled robot voice. So I kind of waited to see in the chat. Ah, the chat got us through. We're good.
Cheers, man. Yeah. Look, where were we about the kind of the future of the club and the plan for when if DeZerbi does leave and I was kind of saying, look, he hasn't got a history of staying around at clubs for too long. We hope that he stays long here and he's successful and we keep building every season to be the best team possible. But I mean, the pro fella signings for the club is important because it could all go tits up and DeZerbi gets sacked and doesn't work out. He throws his toys out the pram and whatever. So it is crucial that the signings that we do bring in have a future for other managers that can. If Spurs want to play in a kind of full attacking.
Oh no, I think he's gone again. Well, I'll go back to to talking, maybe carrying on that point. Um, I do think one of the things that was Dan started talking about that is another key thing about the club when you're talking about whether it should be club decisions or manager decisions is having that manager some of the continuity, right? When again, I'll use Liverpool as the example. When Liverpool, um, when Klopp retired or left, they went to Slot. It was an easy move because they're not that different. They do have obviously different philosophies, but it's not too big of a difference. One of the things we've seen, you're going from Poch, then you're going to Jose. That's going to be a not difficult transition, but it's kind of a change in style, right? So a lot of the players that were great under Poch might not work so well under Jose. Going from Conte to Ange as well, right? That's a big change. You're going from the back three to Ange's back one nonsense style. So I do think, again, that's something where it always comes down to what I'm saying. If you have a plan in place where the club is involved and you have a plan, then you can know that if DeZerbi's gone or leaving, you might even already you should probably already have a few managers in mind that you might even want. Certainly, you'd want to have a style of your next manager. How is that going to work with the club that you have? And I think often what we've seen with our club here at Spurs is we're so reactive that there's no thought put into that. There's no long term planning. I've said it, and I don't want to repeat myself, but that's really before I'm going to say ENIC 2.0 change. I want to see those things put in place at the club so that that long term planning can go on. And I think it's the one major piece that I'm still missing there. I want to see that DOF. I would prefer even to see a CEO, or if you said we have to keep Vinay on for the business aspect of it, I would love to see somebody brought on as kind of a footballing CEO with the DOF under them. If it was somebody, like a Steve Perriman, Glenn Hoddle, somebody that has some connection to the club where they're not necessarily making the day to day operations of. They're not picking out the players, but they're picking out the DOF. They're helping to set that tone, and I think that's something that we've been missing as well. Something that I'd love to see. So somebody sort of if they I mean I want Vinay gone, but if you're saying Vinay is doing a great job of the business side, then you can have him there. He can do the business side. You bring in kind of a guy alongside him to run the football stuff, and then a proper DOF. He's looking at the long term structure of this club. He's making sure that we're getting the pieces that Roberto De Zerbi needs and it fits us long term. And here we go. Dan's trying again.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Don't know what to say, man. Honestly, I went down again, checked the box, seems to be working. Fishy,
All
bit fishy.
right.
Someone's trying to shut me down.
They don't like your controversial views that the club and the manager should work together. They just want it to be a dictatorship.
Dear me. Crazy. I've lost trail of thought now. Where were we? Let's go back to DeZerbi. Let's go to the chat actually. Let's see what people said about the kind of the future and let's see if there's any comments there. don't know if there is. Let's have a little look down in the chat here. See what people are saying here. Got to scroll a little bit up. Got some jewels in the chat. Big up to Big Vic B. 1,000 jewels trophy cape. Much appreciated, man. Thank you very much. And I've got my own comment there. Scott says Dan's done a bunk out the window. Charlton, one Spurs King says Charlton. We got C4.
I couldn't remember. It went right out of my brain when I was. I couldn't remember Charlton.
So what the game tomorrow? Is that? Yeah, fair enough, man. C to the 4th, 4879. Evening to you. Only explanation I can see is he made Gray 5th captain, thinking he would never come to actually making him captain. Injuries happened, and it was either back out right after naming him. So he left himself in a position there. We had no real choice that to play him. I mean, it's just crazy. He shouldn't even be a captain considered anywhere near a captaincy. Just doesn't need the pressure. Not ready to. Will Gray ever come good at Tottenham Hotspur? I don't know. I just don't see how he can. He just needs to nail down a position, but I just don't see him playing enough games. The club have invested a lot of money in him, £40 million. He's just a very controversial subject, isn't he? Gray definitely is. Have to back him as captain. Yeah, I get that, man. Let's go down the chat a little bit more. Big Vit B says, how long does Scott keep going for it? If Dan doesn't come back, place your bets. A little bit of fun in the chat, man. Appreciate you, man, sticking around when I disappeared. I mean, look, hopefully the internet stays stable now. I pray. If it goes down again, man, I don't know what to do. C to the 4th, Marmoush will play 10. No one else in that position, and he's always played striker, even a pair or two, or with two behind him. No, good point. It's a good point there. I think Marmoush, can he do a number 10? I mean, looking at the positions he's played at the time as a footballer, he has done it, but a very small percentage. He normally has played as a number 9. He's played a bit on either side of the wings, but majority of his games have been as a number 9. Maybe that's a number 9 with another striker. I know he played with Ep33 at Frankfurt. Is he? I'm just going to pop and get a drink, Scott. But is what's it called? Is Marmoush an option for a number 10 behind a Solanke or a Richarlison? If unfortunately we end up keeping both of them. Back in a second.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that's nice about Marmoush is that he does have that flexibility to play cover for us as a number 10. He can play as the number 9. He can obviously, I think his best success was with Ekitike playing as the second striker as well. I think he can play out on the left wing. I'm not sure about the right wing if he can do that as well, but he can be played in those positions. I know we're saying he's not a 9. I mean, so much nowadays we don't see many players that are. There's so very few Kane, the Kanes, the Hollands, Gyökeres's even, I guess you could say, maybe Thiago that we saw there just last weekend. A lot of those teams now are playing with guys who are not quite those traditional 9s, which is fine. I would love it if we brought in another, maybe even a more traditional striker, because I don't want to see Richarlison. I don't want to see Solanke. And if we did bring in that other striker, that would show me that we are willing to move on from them. And if Marmoush has to play in a different role, that would be great to see. But it'll be interesting to see how he is used, because as much as I've seen fans complain about, well, he's not a striker, he's not this, the one thing I do know is that it's not like we're the only ones who know it and DeZerbi doesn't know it. So I'm gonna give DeZerbi some credit to say that he knows exactly what he wants. To use Marmoush, he understands the same concerns that we have, that he's not a traditional number 9 and that he'll find a way to use him, whether that is as a 10 or a 9. Because right now, I mean, we do need a 10. We can't. I don't think we can play again with Gallagher in the number 10. Maybe we can get away with it against Charlton, but we can't get away with it against Newcastle because we just don't have the creativity in that front line. We don't have the creativity. We don't have the goals, and we can't afford to play without somebody in that 10 that helps in that role.
Yeah. So Scott, was it? You think you can do a job or not, or you just?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I like about him is he is versatile. He can play different styles, and I was just saying, like, I think DeZerbi, I'm going to give him a bit of credit here. I think he knows what Marmoush is and isn't. So when people are saying like he's not a traditional number 9, I think De Zerbi knows that. He's not going to be surprised and think that he's going to use him as, like a Chris Wood or who was that big guy we had Champions League, Lorente. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to trust that he knows what he's going to do, and I think I'd be fine if Marmoush was filling in at the 10, and we had a goal scorer in front of him. Great, because I think we need that goal scorer, so I'd be fine with that. If it meant we got the goal scorer, a little less happy if it means that we're going to keep Richarlison and Solanke and use them in that role, though. I'm not keen on that.
No, fair enough, man. Good points, man. Good points. And Russell in the chat says, any word on VDV Porro back? I think they're back in the squad for tomorrow. Don't know if they'll start. Maybe they'll come on. But yeah, you're right, man. We need them back as soon as possible. Benji says, what happened to Dan, mate? Internet.
I don't know if you have his press conference, but what I did hear that Daigle said this morning was in the press conference, De Zerbi said that VDV and Porro were going to be on the bench.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's...
Yeah, that's right. He did say that. Let's talk a bit more about mentality. Yeah, he's talking about this, and let's get into it. And what I think was very important part of this press conference. He did say some stuff which it's quite interesting stuff, like Andy Robertson, right? Because De Zerbi, talking about Andy Robertson, but De Zerbi wasn't simply talking about Robertson as left back. He was saying we need his mentality as a winner, and then said Tottenham need to get used to winning games repeatedly and changing the habits of the last couple of seasons. And this is what we've spoken about.
Oh, we lost you again, Dan. I don't know if Dan's trying to share his screen and that's why he's gone black, or if we lost him again. So, C to the fourth. Would you rather Gallagher at the 10? Oh, you there, Danos? Okay, I think he's talking to somebody. Marmoush at the 10 and Gallagher at the 9. That's what I said, because I don't want to see any of those. I don't want to see any of the donkeys up front. I don't want to see Solanke. I don't want to see Richarlison. Neither one of them I want to see playing in the game if we have to. Tomorrow the lineup is going to be interesting to see what we're going to get here. So, Dan, I don't know if you can hear me, but you got to mute your mic. Dan, if you can. Okay, well, he can't hear me. All right, so keep going here. What do we got in the chat? I'm running out of ideas. I can see how. Credit to those who do go on this. What's your lineup for tomorrow? I'm going to put Sávio in. I don't love the fact that he's going to play without having a training session, but we need his quality. Sávio and Tell up front on the wings. Who am I going to put? Oh. I mean, I would say Solanke. I like Solanke up there with his potential to head the ball in with Tell and Sávio trying to feed him in there. But we all know that Solanke's problem is even if he can get on the end of the headers, he's usually spending his time in midfield, and he's nowhere near the opposition's box when the ball's coming in. So good, Dan.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
With your black screens.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Something odd is going on, and the lights went off. I'm thinking someone's messing about. But yeah, look, if it happens again, I'll give up. Honestly, I give up tonight.
Well, it's not just the internet now. You got all sorts of things going on.
I don't know what's happening. It's just really annoying. It's really, it's getting to me a bit. Look, let's get back onto it. What I was talking about. We're talking about mentality, isn't it? Like talking about Robertson and what else did he say? He's talking about the environment has to change. And it's quite a strong statement, right? Because he's not only talking about whether Archie Gray passes the ball better or Richarlison holds up the ball. He's talking about Tottenham, the players, the people inside the club, the atmosphere, the mentality around losing football matches. So I think my interpretation of this is that he thinks the club has developed losing habits. I think he's kind of spot on here, really, because last season we were fighting relegation. The season before wasn't good enough either. You lose enough football matches, and eventually losing starts feeling normal. So De Zerbi wants to break that. But there's also a challenge to back De Zerbi, right? You just don't change an environment by telling everybody change your mentality. You have to change it by winning. Beat Charlton, go and perform properly in the Premier League, win 3 or 4 games, build some confidence. Then suddenly the supporters believe, the players believe, and losing begins to feel unacceptable again. So, look, question for you, Scott, in the chat. Do you agree with De Zerbi that Tottenham have developed a mentality problem over the last couple of seasons? I mean, the mentality thing at Spurs has been at the club for donkey's years, hasn't it? Like we've always fallen at the final hurdle. We have good, good season to a point, and we miss out. Especially, I would say, in kind of cup competitions, big games. Have we always had enough big players to get us through those difficult moments? And mentality in a kind of collective, I would say. And do you think, how long would it take to change something like that? I think it could take a long time. What do you reckon, Scott? We'll go chat.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like we've had an issue at the club, and I think it's important that you say that at the club because I think we've had players and managers that have come in and wanted to change it, but I think the problem we've seen is that it's been throughout the club, right? And Jose, we know he doesn't have a mentality problem. I don't think. I don't think that other players that we've had through the years have a mentality problem. I don't think Conte had a mentality problem, but I think the club has it, and they've all talked about it. Poch talked about it, Jose talked about it, Conte talked about it, and those three guys changed it. So I'll say, yeah, it's going to take time because you can't just say, "Hey, we have a mentality problem. Hey, boys, change your mentality." It's going to take time because you have to actually show it, right? Saying it is identifying it's the first step, but you actually have to do things. And that's why I'm a little frustrated, honestly, with some of De Zerbi because he says all that, right? He says, let's change the mentality problem here. And then he goes and puts 5 people who have been part of this club, part of the problems with the mentality, quite frankly, on the leadership. Like, to me, that's a perfect time to say, okay, we want a new mentality at this club. We want to change the mentality. Let's get Robertson on that. Let's get Tonali on the leadership council, right? Let's have them as our club captains. I know, it's hard to say, like, we've had people like Van de Ven who has been a captain in the past. But you know what? Now's the time we're going to change it. We're changing our mentality. And Robertson's the guy who's going to come here. So again, I don't want to just keep harping on the Gray thing. But to me, he says that, and then he totally goes against it when he makes Gray captain. He totally goes against it when he makes Bergval, he plays Bergval, and he says, I kind of knew that Bergval wasn't ready for this game, but he was better for the future. Like, what are you talking? How's that that's a loser mentality, right? That's a losing mentality. So that's where I'm kind of frustrated by De Zerbi because it's right. We do need to change this, and it is going to take time. But then he goes and does what I would say is two actions right there that is the exact opposite of what he's preaching. And I do think that I've said in the past I'm not as enamored with what De Zerbi did over the 7 games, and that doesn't mean that I don't think he did a good job. I just don't think it was like some amazing, wonderful job. But what he did do, the one thing I totally give him credit for, is he took out any idea of losing mentality and he installed Polinia, Gallagher, and Bentancur in there because he knew they were going to do the exact job needed to win. He didn't care about anything else, but we need to get the wins and the results. And those 3 players did it. And then he came back for game 1 of the season and he just got rid of any of that. And so I don't think, again, I'm not De Zerbi out, but it's just frustrating that he says all the right things, but then his actions show something different. Hopefully, like you said, he's going to learn from this, right? And he's going to come back because I do think there's a lot of things that he can do to help that mentality. And unfortunately, that first game, I don't think he did anything to do it.
No, man, it's worrying, mate. It's very worrying. C to the fourth says, would you rather Gallagher 10, Marmoush 9, or Marmoush 10 with Pigeon Solanke up front? I don't want to see Gallagher in the 10. We spoke a lot about Gallagher on the show last night, Stale's show. I think Gallagher's got to be in the midfield, doesn't he? He's got to be in the midfield 3 to get the most out of him. We'll have to see. I just don't think it works as a 10. Scott, you don't want to see Gallagher in a 10, do you, again? You probably want to see him a bit more central with a couple of other midfielders, maybe.
Yeah, for me, Gallagher at the 10 works when you're up by a goal or two and he's kind of out there. He's going to press them. He's going to, work in that role where you're already up. He comes in. You don't need the offense. You don't need the creativity. He comes in and fills that role. That's perfect for him, and that's the only time I want to see him in a 10. And I think I was saying it as you're coming back. The problem is we don't have the creativity and ability up front that we can manage to have a 10 that doesn't have any of that creativity. And that's what the problem is with Gallagher. I don't even know, like, again, I don't think Luca Williams Barnett is ready for the Premier League, but I would play him tomorrow at the 10 against Charlton. Sure, I'll see that, because I don't know what we're going to do against Newcastle, because I don't think Marmoush, maybe he will be in time, but I think again it's a problem that we knew we were going to have. I mean, you and I know we both said we're concerned about Maddison not being ready for the start of the season, and for some reason the club ignored it for whatever reason, and now it is a problem.
Massive worry. And C to the 4 said Mikey Moore up front, clinical finisher. He is not. Right, Russell's talking about it's Lubo's revenge for anti-grey settlement. Gremlins down. I'll come in for you. Oh, guys, honestly, I don't know. Through YouTube, it all can go wrong on it sometimes. We're on the internet here. We're online. It's mad, isn't it? Anything can go wrong. Power cut, internet down. This is it, isn't it? Like my phone signal in this area is so bad. My phone signal is terrible. If anything ever happens to my internet, I'm in trouble. It's barely a bar or two. Really bad, really bad. Also got a message. All right, Scott, mate, just saw your message there, mate. Thank you so much for joining us. You've given me a little bit of a respite there on the chat here. I kind of got my breath back. I can go on.
You said how hard it is to talk when you're on your own and you need somebody. So then you ditched me and let me experience how it is on the own. But it's always great chatting, and thanks to the chat for helping me out there. It is funny. I always have lots to say, but when you went away and I was not expecting it, I was lost for words for the first time I think ever on YouTube. So always great to come on, and
you did a good job, man.
Sticks for you here.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Take care.
Thanks,
Scott,
Pat. Talk to you all later.
See you later. Bye. Oh, guys, hey, it's just me again. What time is it now? 20 to 2 in the morning. Oh, dear. Let's go on a little bit longer. Let's try and get through the rock and roll, Scott. It's getting a bit of love in there. Preach. Guys, still up as well, mate. You not got work in the morning? You off tomorrow? Everyone in the chat, it's been like it's like he has been told to make Gray captain. Like we were talking a little bit earlier, Russell, weren't we? We really were. Let's have a look, see if there's any more comments. We got Jay Jag in the chat. Maddison is so overrated. How often does he play the killer ball? What exactly does he do? Drops usually plays the easy ball. Get rid whilst not injured. Not a fan, Jay Jag. Not a fan. I think he's testing the fan base patience, Maddison. More to do with his availability than anything. Really frustrating, isn't it? Last season, beginning of this season. But he has got an awful injury record, and he always has, and he probably always will. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Let's go for an all-nighter, Scott says. I like one night, Scott. Honestly, I was up very late one night, but yeah, won't be that late tonight. Guy says, I'm working, but never sleep. I sleep about 4 after scrolling for new boots. So you seriously, you're working, mate, this late at night, man? We must have a big project on. And Russell's in the chat says it's 10:38 a.m. in Sydney, right? Isn't it, Russell? I'm sure. Sydney, sunny Sydney, or maybe you're near Sydney or a city or a town near Sydney. Correct me if I'm wrong. I swear you've said that in the past, man. Tell me in the chat. Look, let's get back to the DeZerbi press conference. And he's spoken about Brentford. I mean, there was a load of waffle on the weekend about Brentford, which I found very frustrating. He contradicted himself a lot. So let's see if he's kind of cleared up any issues or worries that we have as fans. So look, I mean, I don't think he handled the Lucas Bergvall question quite well. But, in this press conference, he didn't throw him under the bus, which, of course he can't do. He basically said that he hugged him And Bergvall already knows he didn't play well. It's nicey here, isn't it? But look, you've got to, as a manager, you've got to be professional. You've got to look out for your young players. And whatever we think about Bergvall, you've got to do a decent thing as a person. So I get all that. You know what we're like as fans. We rage on players, we slate players, we slag them off. But it's just football. Not for personal. It's just football. And we all want success at the club. And we want the team to be the best they can. And we want the best players, and we want players to perform when they get a chance. And unfortunately, Luca Bergvall, for one reason or another, has not been the player that maybe some of us expected. Archie Gray, so kind of this is the bigger point from De Zerbi. Bergvall, Archie Gray, Tell, Mikey Moore, these players have to experience horrible games sometimes, and that's part of becoming better footballers. Yeah, I get it. I get that is a kind of observation on these things, but again, it doesn't help us when we know that we need to get results. We need to improve as a football team. So it doesn't really help. So that's, but then he says something quite revealing. He goes on and says, he suggested having 1 or 2 youngsters together might be better than having 4 altogether. 4 or 5, is not ideal at all for this team right now. 2 in there, if injuries are that bad, can we get away with it? Some games maybe. But away to Brentford, no, unfortunately not. I think we need to look at that seriously by the end of the window. Have we got enough strength cover in certain positions? It's a balancing act, I guess, isn't it? Like De Zerbi said that he wanted to kind of involve maybe up to 4 young players, maybe he said 2, I can't remember now, involved in around the first team, giving him chances when he can. I do think it's important to promote the youth. But it's a fine balancing act, isn't it? When, De Zerbi's got to get results, this team's got to get wins. And if you have too many young players in there, and it's not gonna always go well, is it? They're gonna make mistakes, they're not gonna have good games. But look, it's a balancing act, isn't it? It's a tough one to do. I don't think many Spurs managers have got that right over the years. And probably every club struggles with this. It really does. So look, one of the things which maybe I kind of I don't know what I want to say here. I got the balance wrong, which is actually one of the things I criticise about Brentford. So look, as I said, I'm not judging De Zerbi's entire Tottenham career after one game. Yes, criticise. Yes, complain. Yes, have a bit of a chat around it, and which I did on my show on Saturday night. But it's one game, isn't it? And we've got to let him, get on with it. Get it right next time, starting tomorrow, starting at the weekend against Newcastle, I think so. Look, Saturday was, as I said, a managerial disaster. But look, De Zerbi himself admitted everyone makes mistakes, and specifically, he said me as the first always, and that's that quote from him in the press conference. And I like that. He's owned it. Very important too. He isn't, we've had managers in the past at the club who just, Ange was a bit like that as well, wasn't he? I think many managers have. They don't like to take responsibility. Yes, they've got their egos, they've got their pride to protect. I get all of that. Every manager's different. But when there's a disaster like that, there's no running away from it, is there? De Zerbi made some bad decisions. Yes, the players didn't play well. They got to take responsibility as well. And we've called them out, haven't we, over the last few days? Look, another thing I just wanted to add as well, because he's not saying my tactics were brilliant, but these young players couldn't execute them. He's accepting responsibility. Look, let's go to the chat, see if there's any more comments before I move on to the press conference. Yeah, I was right. Rainy Sydney. Raining there, man. Don't think, how often does it rain in Sydney? Very sunny place. When I went there, it was very warm. But when was the time of the year I went? I went kind of like, maybe it was February time, possibly March. I can't remember now exactly. Pick your players, Rob says. And the Aussie Spur TV, rainy Central Coast, about 90 minutes north from Sydney too, man. Big up to you as well. Hope life's good out there for you. Australia, Spurs fans, man. Yeah, love it. I love it, man. I love it. All the fans around the world, man, getting involved in the community, man. Chatting Spurs, man. It's great stuff. Great stuff. Everyone gets involved with the chats. J Jag playing all 4 all four was crazy game, especially the first game was crazy. It was, man. And he had options on the bench. A few hellos in the chat there. Guy says, I ain't heard the presser. I always lie on you for them. Yeah, I know. I do like to talk about a presser now and then on the show. You probably think it's boring. Maybe you don't. Maybe you enjoy it. You're listening to someone analyze a press conference, but you know, De Zerbi is the guy we hear from most, isn't it? About what's going on in the club, what's happening with the players, what went right, what went wrong, why are we signing these players? Why is it taking so long? This is our kind of main source of, other than the journalists, when you don't really know what to believe. It's coming out the horse's mouth, and we judge what he says, don't we? We hold him to account what he says. As I said at the Saturday, he lost me. I couldn't get through it all, but they've been a little bit better today, I guess. J Jag says, "Yeah, got to play the long game, or we haven't, or we wasn't to progress." Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Yeah, now I enjoy it, matey. Cheers, guy, man. Cheers, guy. Look, let's kick on with the press conference, man. Bit 48 in the room still at this time of night. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Much appreciated. Thinking of going live again at the weekend, Saturday night, late, about 10ish, 10 p.m. UK time, to kind of review that Newcastle game. Hopefully have a couple of guests on. Hopefully it's a win, and hopefully we're going to come in on with something good to talk about. It was horrible on Saturday, having to debunk what went wrong. I don't like to. There's been so many defeats last season, and it'd be nice to come on Saturday, talk about what went right, and hopefully a win. You know, and hopefully we get a win tomorrow against Charlton. Yeah, it's got to be a win, 100%. So look, what else has DeZerbi saying? He says, look, it's not the true Tottenham yet. Obviously, it's not the true Tottenham yet. And this is why I think DeZerbi, again, is trying to manage expectations. His argument is that we saw at Brentford, it isn't the Tottenham he's trying to create. And he's probably right. Of course, he's probably right. It is. It's nowhere near the first team that we're all expecting as fans. There's a lot of players missing. Yes, there were some players there, new players there, what we were looking forward to watching. But generally, it was quite a weak side, and we want a stronger team moving forward. And he says, talking about looking at the turnover of players, new goalkeeper option, new defenders, new midfielder, new tactics, new attackers, players coming back. And these are kind of going back to the old excuses again. Players back from the World Cup, players injured, major transfers still not being completed after the Premier League has started. And of course, that window is not finished, right? It's still a bit time to go. And DeZerbi talks about needing to create connections. I've heard him say this before. Relationships, a style of playing, eventually what he called a soul as a team, which he came out and said before the kickoff on Saturday. And that's going to take time. But here's where I draw the line, right? Time is an explanation. And it can't be an excuse for absolutely everything. You know, we've got to start seeing things working on the pitch, and it's not going to be perfect. You know, we're not going to play perfect the whole game. It's going to be ups and downs. But I don't expect Tottenham to look like the finished team in August. Of course not. But I do expect some organisation, guys. I'm sure you all do in the chat as well. You do expect the basics to be done, winning the second balls, fighting for the ball, energy, effort. We have had preseason games. The players have had matches, not all of them, but they should have some level of fitness. People talk, and I think it was a comment in the chat earlier that Brentford didn't have many players at the World Cup. They had more game time, more preparation in preseason, an advantage to them. Plus, they're already a stable side, a team that knows what they're doing, what their manager wants, and they've added to it as well. So look, and we should expect intensity. We should expect, I say, players to understand basic roles, and expect Tottenham to complete properly. And Brentford, you know, they weren't just a team that needed another few weeks to understand the system, and Spurs are going to need a little while to understand the system. Let's go to the chat and see if anyone people are saying. I think I'm getting near the end of the presser now, guys. I think I've nearly covered it. I'll just double check, just some notes I made to see if I have. But let's go to the chat here. J Jack, yeah, got to play the long game. Oh, I've just read out that one. Let's have a look here. What else we're saying here? Scott saying it's going to be a mad week in the transfer market, isn't it? Yeah, Serbia hasn't closed the door on the market. There's a comment I need to read out about that. Zachary in the chat, evening to you, or early morning, wherever you are in the world. You have to think DeZerbi has a vision with these certain players he wanted. I'm hoping to see some of that DeZerbi ball here soon. Hope so, man. Hope so. Scott reckons we still need a right back, attacking midfielder, striker, and a right winger. Yep, I do. I think we need that too. We need another right wing to cover Kudos, 100% to compete with Kudos, to keep him on his toes. Russell says, thanks for the thanks. Time's up for me. Thanks, Dan, and honourable mention for Scott off the bench later. Russell, cheers for joining the show, mate. Getting involved in the comments. Appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself, man. And Scott says, you're doing a watch along tonight, Dan. You doing a watch along tonight, Dan? No, Cookie will be doing that. Cookie doing the watch alongs. There'll be probably a few YouTubers doing it tonight. Plenty of YouTubers enjoy it. I'll be just sitting there watching the game, hoping for a win. Will I join the show later on that evening? Maybe, possibly. We'll see. Maybe, but I'm not going to be going live on my own channel until the weekend, Saturday, 10 p.m. Unless something crazy happens, then I feel I need to. I might do. You never know. Never say never. Let me just go back to DeZerbi, because I'm sure there was some more comments that I wanted to read out. I don't know see if I got those comments still. Let's have a little look here. He said quite a lot in this press conference. Must have been quite a long one. Talked about it's not the true Tottenham yet. Richarlison. Okay, let's talk about Richarlison. What's he saying about Richarlison, guys? One of our favourite players at Spurs. Richarlison, eh? Oh, dear. And you're not going to like this, unfortunately. Yeah, guys watching in the chat, I'm sure you won't. I don't think there is many Richarlison fans. You know, fans say, look, he gives it his all on the pitch. He causes some chaos sometimes, coming off the bench, grabbing a goal, likes to score against Liverpool, likes to wind up the opposition. That's all well and good when we win and we get a result, right? But we just ain't got enough good results. And Richarlison, if the truth be known, hasn't helped us enough over the last 2 seasons. Injury prone, he's missed so many games as well. He's not a clinical striker. He needs a lot of chances. He's hit and miss. Misses so much, frustrates you. And Tottenham should be having better forwards than him at the club. But he's made it clear again, De Zerbi. Why is this? And I know maybe it's about knowing that Richarlison's not going to leave in this window, knowing that he's probably going next window when his contract's up. Again, is it the old chestnut of, you know, you got to give your existing players confidence? Yeah, of course. I get it. But he's always said this, that, you know, he has to play much better than at Brentford. So, you know, and that's true. He has. And he also explained exactly what he wanted. He said against teams pressing Tottenham man to man, the striker has to hold on to the ball. Obviously, of course he does. He's got to, when we're under a bit of pressure and that ball goes long, we've got centre backs there in the team, midfielders as well, who can pick a pass and get a ball up to the forwards, not just Richarlison, whoever else is in that forward line. Hold it, stick it. It's got to stick, isn't it? It's got to relieve that pressure. And what was happening against Brentford, it was just getting pushed over. He was falling over. He wasn't holding on to it. And the attacks keep coming. We kept losing possession. It kept coming. Lively crowd, Brentford, a lot of energy, a lot of running, confident, knew what they're doing, knocking the ball around well. They had purpose to their play, didn't they, Brentford? That was the difference. A lot of purpose to the play, a lot of triangles, a lot of, you know, they knew what they wanted to do. It was all working well, and Spurs were just running around all over the place. So it's about kind of protecting the ball. And as I said, he goes on to say about, you know, Tottenham to get bodies up the pitch, give the team an outlet, like what basically I just said. Solanke doesn't do that enough. And now, is Solanke going to be able to do that? Maybe he'll start tomorrow. Is he fitting it to start? Questions over Solanke. Can he do it? I don't know. And where does Richarlison sit? And then we've got another striker potentially coming through. So we'll get onto that shortly. So questions for the chat. Who is your starting number 9 if everyone's fit? I mean, right now it's Solanke or Richarlison, and that's it, isn't it? Who are you starting tomorrow against Charlton? If Marmoush is not here, who you're starting against Newcastle? It's probably either here or there for me. I don't know. It's a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Who do you prefer? Both players have just not performed to the levels that we want at the club. Let's see what the chat's saying here. Zachary says, Richie has the worst first touch in the game. Yeah, he does. Terrible first touch. And the guy says, as much as a fan of Richie as I am of chronic diarrhea, doesn't rate him either, Scott. And Sky, I know that. And Scott says, wasn't the left wing where he was at Watford? He did play at left wing at Watford when he first joined them as a younger player, coming off of the left, maybe a little bit more pace about him. Different, isn't it? Playing for Watford, though, isn't it? It's not so much pressure. And then he moved to number 9. Don't think he had an amazing goal record. Never really got past many 10 goals, maybe a little bit more than that, but never been a big goal scorer as he throughout a season. Awful injury record. I mean, with this point about DeZerbi, it's nothing really that interesting, to be honest. So let's just go on to the Carabao Cup. And DeZerbi said he's not disrespecting the competition. Yeah, good. It's important that he's taking these cup competitions seriously, because I want to do well in these cups, because we're not in Europe. We've got to try and hope to do something this season. Look, so he says, asked how seriously he takes the Carabao Cup. His response was essentially that right now Tottenham are still not in a position to start deciding one competition matters than another. Doesn't. So for him tomorrow has to be approached with the same mentality in the Premier League match. And I completely agree with this. So Tottenham finished 17th last season. We've just been smashed by Brentford 3-0. And this team needs to be thinking, oh, it's only Charlton. It doesn't need to be thinking, oh, it's only Charlton. This team needs a win. It needs rhythm. It needs a performance. It needs confidence, doesn't it? It needs players learning the system. And it's a cup competition, of course. Tottenham should always need and want to win trophies. So, look, question for the chat. Would you go strong against Charlton tomorrow, or would you make 7 changes? What a mad question. You know, maybe some in the chat think, well, we'll get away with the youngsters tomorrow against Charlton, but I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I want a full strength lineup. I want the best lineup possible. If you're fit enough to play, get on the pitch, put on a performance, get some goals, leading into the Newcastle game Saturday, which is a tricky game, right? So, look, it's an obvious thing for me, and I'm sure you guys want a stronger team. Just drop a comment in the chat. Zach says Brentford won 6-1 Birmingham today. They're definitely ready for the season. So ready, aren't they? I think they're going to have a good season. Scott says go strong. 100%, Scott, you agree with me. What's Guy saying here? I know Charlton very well. They're physical. They don't care about possession. Counter-attacking football, we will not get away with the kids against them. So, guys, speaking some facts here. He knows Charlton very well. So I totally trust what he's saying here. So let's read his comment again. I know Charlton very well. They're physical. Okay, championship physical side. Okay, so we're going to be in for a physical battle tomorrow. So any set pieces, corners, free kicks, that's where they're going to try and hurt Spurs. They don't care about having the ball. They'll go and direct, I guess, trying to break away quickly, and try and hurt us. They'll be, I don't know. And Guy, maybe are they taking this game seriously tomorrow? Are they focusing more on the league? What's their manager said? How is he approaching this game? Of course, the Charlton fans are going to be, it's London derby, isn't it? The fans are going to be looking forward to it. I don't know. Are Charlton going to make a few changes, or we're going to go strong? I don't know these answers. Maybe, Guy, Guys come in here again. They play very direct. Spurs should have all the ball. They should be creating chances. They've got to be taking the game to Charlton, really putting the pressure on, really being the dominant Premiership side. Got to be going for it. We've got to go for it. We've got to really score goals early. No excuses for me. Should be winning this game. Even though with that bad game the other day and all the changes and all this going on and the bad preparation, I'm sorry. These players are good enough to go out there and beat Charlton. I'm sorry. Am I right? Or am I wrong? Or was that not being fair enough to Charlton? Zach says we cannot lose to Charlton. It has to be a strong team. 100%, man. Scott says Tottenham don't know what being ready is. Enoch have done it again. No plan. Plan's not worked. It's not been good enough. It's not worked, has it? Maybe this plan will come to light more as the season goes on, but it's not been ready, is it? Guy says Charlton are taking this game very seriously. Nathan, their manager, and the press has said they are going strong for this game. The fans are very happy. They got us, their fans, so up for it. Well, thank you, Guy, man. Thank you for telling me something I didn't know. Maybe the chat didn't know. Maybe people watching the show didn't know. So yeah, should be an exciting game. Should be a good game to watch. And hopefully Spurs can come out of it winning it, not making a meal out of it. We don't want any banana skins. They beat West Ham at the weekend, didn't they, Guy? They beat West Ham, man in their last game, and won their 2 previous games. So they're in good form. They're winning games. Look, if there's any more comments about Charlton in the chat, I'll read them up. But let's kick on. DeZerbi says something about it doesn't sound like a man with low expectations. So as we said in the show at the start, when we're going through the presser, he was talking about patience, right? He's talking about, what it takes to build a team and everything going on and patience and patience and patience. But now he's kind of talking about, it doesn't sound like low expectations. So let's get into it. So every time someone asks him, where should Tottenham finish? Top 4, top 6, title challenge, he doesn't really want to give you a number. And I kind of understand why. But then listen to the language. He talks about signing players of the highest level. He's already bigged up Sávio and he thinks he's a player of the highest quality. Either agree or not agree, this is what he's saying. He talks about becoming a top team. He talks about developing a winning mentality. And today he finished by saying, I think we can do something special. And I did start the show off with these kind of quotes. I did. So I don't think DeZerbi lacks ambition. Not remotely. I think he does. He has ambition. Of course he does. Passionate guy, spending all this money. He demanded these signings come into the team. He said at the end of the season, we need more. We need so much more. He witnessed the team in the last 7 games or whatever, how many games he managed. And he looked at it. And he looked what happened this season. I'm sure he watched some Tottenham games and he watched his football. And he probably saw it, that this team, and we all know this, don't we, as fans watching our team week in, week out, that the team needed massive upgrades. It needed a revamp. It needed to build. We're not, when we hear the word rebuild, we're not rebuilding because there's nothing, we didn't achieve anything. Okay, maybe you can argue that and say, well, we won the Europa League. But football week to week league matches over the past 2 seasons have not been good enough under Ange, under Frank, and that shit show over Tudor when he turned up. So look, I think he's, and as I said this earlier in the show, he's trying to avoid publicly setting a target for the squad that hasn't even been completed yet. But privately, I suspect his expectations are pretty high for this season and for the future. And if Marmoush comes through the door, and we're getting forwards of, and spending up to 400 million in the transfer window. I know the net spend dropped a bit down to just over 200, but it's maybe going to reach up again. Marmoush is a loan, right, guys, isn't it? Isn't it Marmoush alone this season? So we're not buying him this season, but there may be an obligation. So there's still more money to spend in this transfer window. And again, DeZerbi hasn't closed the door. And I think there's a question coming up as well in this press conference about that. So at some point, obviously, expectations will change, won't they, naturally? Because you can't spend that amount of money and make that many changes. We're not having any kind of goals. Here's a transition, of course. Here's a transition. So a question for the chat. If anyone wants to answer it, by all means, please do. Is DeZerbi generally managing expectation? Or is he quietly telling us that he believes his Tottenham team could eventually challenge right at the top? Because his words are becoming more ambitious, even if he's refusing to give us a lead position. Guys, what do you think in the chat? Let us know. I think it's obvious he's trying to manage expectations. I really do. Let's go to the chat. Scott says it's a London derby, so it won't be easy as we think. Of course not. Of course not. But they are championship side, right? We should be winning this game, man. But it's cups, mad things happen, right? giant killing and all of that sort of stuff. Man United got kicked out by Grimsby last season. It can happen. Shocks can happen. We want a professional performance tomorrow. Scott says it's the club that's lacking in leadership. No, I do agree, Scott. I do. I think there is a lack of leadership over time. It's got to be improved, and I think it's just hiring better football people, in my opinion. I definitely hope that happens. A lot of changes coming internally at the club. We might not all see them as massive changes, but they are making a lot of changes. A lot going on, isn't it? Since Levy has left. The club's got some way to go to becoming a competitive and a serious club. But this is the start. It's just the beginning. Rob says, well, that was predictable in quite a setting sociable. Put in a crowd of panelists, different Scott from Canada comes out. That's called a flawed, degenerative personality. Rob, sometimes I need to really read your comments better. I'm tired. You really get me thinking, Rob. I've said this to you before, mate. Well, that was predictable in quite a setting sociable. Put in a crowd of panelists, different Scott from Canada comes out. That's called a flawed, disingenuous personality. Scott, Rob, are you not a fan of Scott? Oh, have I read that wrong? Scott, always a great supporter to me on channels. On YouTube. I mean, look, I know he gets into all sorts of debates in the chat with so many people in the chat, other YouTubers, all goes on. But it's just football opinion, guys, keep it a football opinion, keep it respectable. No one's perfect. We all get, sometimes we get well into it. We might say things which some people interpret differently. Look, each to their own, man. Everybody's got different styles of how they communicate on YouTube. Scott, for me, I've got a lot of respect for Scott and a lot of time for the guy. He's been a massive support to my channel. And yeah, look, don't always agree with him with his opinion. He probably doesn't always agree with me, but I think Scott's a good guy. I do. I really do. Jay Jeg said, what worries me is a lack of physicality in this team. We are a small team, not much balance. A team who do their homework will look to bully us and it will work. We have to be patient. And I think there is something what you say there, Jay Jag. 100%, man. Do we have enough physicality in the team? Height-wise, kind of the profile of the player, which we may both think, we all might think Tonali, Fernandez are good players, but they're quite smallish players, aren't they? I'm not saying they can get pushed about on the pitch. And they have a lot of tenacity. But sometimes there are games where you do need that height, set pieces, defending set pieces, someone who's got that big, strong tackle in them. I think we're going to need to kind of recruit a player similar profile to that, box-to-box player. People may say Gallagher can fight, and he's tenacious. Sarr, I think he's being sold. Never really lived up to the expectation for me, Sarr, but inconsistent player. Can have a good game, can have a shit game, can score a good goal, can go missing. Sarr, don't think he's ever going to make it at Spurs. I think he'll be sold in this window. I think his time's up. I wonder who will take a player like Sarr. Do you think he'll go abroad, guys, or do you think a Premier League a team will take him? Sarr, I think we've got to move on from him. I really do. Guy said, Scott to me has always been the same, even in private chats. Scott's a real one. Big up, man. Big up to Scott. Nice thing you said, Guy. Well said, Dan. Everyone has their own opinion. Smash the like button. Cheers, Scott, man. Please, man, smash the like button. Appreciate it. And Rob said, that's the point, Dan. Keeping it respectful. Can have difference of opinions, but change in personality is not keeping respectful. Rob, man, it's your opinion, mate. I'm not going to say you're wrong or right on that. It's your opinion. Rob, again, you're a big supporter of the channel, always in the chats, always comments on my videos. And, that's what you think, man. That's what you think. I'm not here to say you're right or wrong, man. And, it's your opinion. Big up to you, man. Bill, big up to Bill, man. Good morning, Dan. What you doing up, Bill, mate? You got an early start? You working or you just woken up? Can't sleep? Spurs on your mind? Charlton, you worried about Charlton tonight? Bill, mate, give us your thoughts and things. How you feeling after the the Brentford malarkey. I think you were in the chat on Saturday night. Sorry, mate, if I forgot you. I think you were. I think you were in there getting involved in the chat. I've seen you in other shows. Cookie show, I'm sure. Since the weekend. Big up to you, man. Ben in the chat, how you doing, Ben, mate? Another guy who comes and watches me quite a bit, man. Big up to you. We should have sold Burval when we had the chance. 100%, mate. I really agree with you there. Archie Gray's the same height as me, same as Gallagher. Well, unless they've grown since I've last met them. So they're tall players, but maybe don't have that physicality, that muscle. You know, I don't know. Gallagher, experienced player, can get about the pitch, can tackle, can press, can run all day long. Really, Gallagher. Wonder what sort of season he will have. He's got a lot of backers in the fan base, in the Spurs fan base. A lot of fans defend him. I want to see more from Gallagher. I really do, and I hope he's on a lot of money. He's a big salary. We've got to see him through the season, and he's got to kind of contribute. Don't think he's a starter though, but coming on off the bench, squad player, cover games, yeah, of course, he can do a job. But more in a midfield three for me. I don't think he's great in a 2, and I don't think he's a number 10. I think he's a kind of runner, box to box presser. In a team, say maybe with another 2 technical type midfielders, Gallagher alongside them, I think can work in the right formation and the right system. 100%. Look, I'm not going to go on much longer, guys. Yeah, it's been 2 hours, 40 minutes. Probably had enough of me rambling on all night. I'm starting to a little bit struggle now. Tiredness is kicking in, and I've got to get up in the morning. Got to get on with some things tomorrow. But big up to everyone in the chat. Smash the like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and all of that. Let me see if there's anything key pointers there. 1 second, I just got a message. 1 second, guys. Shutting down in 5 minutes. There we go. We're done. Let's have a look here. What else I wanted to talk about? We talked about Savinha being an official player. Marmoush, just finish the show with Marmoush, guys. I'm sure a lot of you in the chat quite happy that Marmoush is coming in. Not saying everyone. It's even on the shows yesterday, people were like saying that we need a Marmoush and a number 9. They didn't think he's an out and out number 9. When I hear that, he's not like that kind of big physical player who's going to hold the ball up, who's going to get headers, win a physical battle with centre backs. He's more of a technical player, runner in behind, good shot, good link up play in the box, around the box, stretch defences. He's got a bit of flair, isn't he? And we hope he gets back to those kind of Frankfurt numbers when he had a really great first strong half of the season, scored a ridiculous number of goals, and then he got that move to City, didn't he? Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at what else here he says about Marmoush. Savinha, Marmoush, Tel, Solanke, Richarlison, Moore, eventually Kudos, Sávio, Klulu, Maddison. There's a lot of attacking players in that list there. Marmoush is really interesting because he isn't just tied to one position. He can play centrally. He can come off the left. He can play around another striker. Flexible player, what you like. You need players who can do a little bit more. I like it. I like the flexibility with him as well. It's not just he's technically good and he's a good ball striker. He can kind of play some other positions, which is useful. He gives DeZerbi different combinations, right? Doesn't he? So, just the last question of the night, guys. I'll go to the chat and then I'm going to shut the show down. If Marmoush signs, where do you think DeZerbi will play him? I'm hoping number 9. But there will be certain games where he may be better off. Whatever you think of Solanke or Richarlison, we know they're not going to be good enough long term, but they're going to have to play and they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to contribute. Would you play him behind a bit like a I don't know. I remember it was Brighton days. Just kind of thinking he was Welbeck, wasn't it? Welbeck and Pedro. Will we see that? Maybe say like maybe even if we sign Gakpo, maybe Gakpo and Marmoush exchanging positions possibly. I don't know, guys. What do you reckon? Are you seeing Marmoush coming in as the number 9? Or are you kind of thinking that there's a lot more there's other things we could do with him? You know, like I've just said, let us know in the chat, and then we're going to shut the show down tonight. Big up to everyone. Bill says, can't get back to sleep, Dan. Sorry, man. Sorry to hear that, mate. Hope everything's okay with you, buddy. We'll beat Charlton, surely. Laugh out loud. I mean, if we can't beat them, Bill, we got a problem. We can just knowing us as fans and, you know, chatting Spurs in this whole YouTube environment, right? Social media. We don't want a bad day to we don't want those meltdown streams, the emergency streams. We just want a straightforward win, don't we? We just want to do the job, get it done, get the win into the next one. Hopefully we'll get another good draw. Hopefully we'll get another home draw or get a nice draw. Starting in round 2, isn't it? Because we're not in Europe. When's the last time we've been in round 2, guys? Feels like it's been a while. We did know it was Sunderland, wasn't it? That was a frustrating season, wasn't it? We weren't in the Ange season, first season when we finished 5th. We weren't in Europe, and we started in round 2. We got knocked out against Fulham, didn't we? Away and in penalties in the end. Guys, surely tomorrow or tonight now, isn't it? Because it's today. We get a win. God, I just dreaded to think if it goes wrong. Let's go to the chat. That's who I am, mate. Big up to you, Rob, man. Big up to you, buddy. Scott, Defo Dan, he's a bum on your seat player. Yeah, I like him. I do. I like Marmoush. And I'm excited to see him in their Spurs shirt. Hopefully he'll make the weekend. Still not finalised, is it, that move? Rob says free floating number 9, but I filling in as a 10. Yeah, it's an option, isn't it? If we're that struggling that much, it's an option. Guy says, my honest thoughts, with all these new players' positions, I think it's going to be a fucking around, a find out kind of thing. Yeah, I get that, man. It's going to be a lot of that. It's not going to run be smoothly, Guy, by any means. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a few struggles throughout the season. I just think that we're going to face familiar things at Tottenham. You know, familiar things we're used to seeing season in, season out, beating low blocks. And when has it not been a challenge? Even when we've had really good teams, you know, thinking back under Poch days, sometimes it was tough, isn't it? And we had to get late goals. We had to rely on great strikes from Son, Kane, Ericsson, Ali back in those days. And yeah, it wasn't always easy beating low blocks. Some teams are going to come to our ground this season and play us on the counter attack like they do. Might be many teams that open up at our grounds. Maybe some of the better teams might push up a little bit, feel confident they can go toe-to-toe with Spurs. Yeah, interesting one, isn't it? Fascinating season, guys, isn't it? I mean, it's been shown that we started off with a bad defeat, but they can turn around. We got to see something working on the pitch. Got to get the transfer window closed. It seems to have dragged on for a long, long time, hasn't it? This window. It's been a long old summer, isn't it? With the World Cup as well thrown in. And it'll be good to get to that point. Window shut. This is what we've got. The players are gone. This is what we're going to rely on. We will come and say our opinions on the transfer window, if we're happy with it, how happy we are. No one's ever going to be completely satisfied. Unfortunately, it's just life, isn't it? Football. Players are going to disagree on signings, expectation on players, argue. Football's about opinion. And look, J-Jag says, agreed. Big up a big man. And that's it. I'm going to shut down, man. Smash the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for watching us. Everybody who's joined us at different times of the night. Big up to you all. I'll be back Saturday, 100% Saturday night, 10 p.m. And yeah, fingers crossed there's a win tomorrow night against Charlton. And hopefully Marmoush is confirmed as well in the next couple of days. Big up to everyone in the chat. Rob, one more comment. One thing is clear. Low club DeZerbi handicap, but it's believed he will get better players than he had at Brighton. He can do better. Better being over 1.5 points per match points. That's it, Rob. Agree with you, buddy. I'm checking out. Good night, everyone. And as always, come on, you Spurs. Good night.